Apparently we're going live. OMIMGG, the G in the left-hand corner on my phone, it is red. It says live. That means we must be live. Greetings, everybody. Greetings and welcome to Real Talk with Simply Deez on Tuesday, the 4th. Oh, my giddy aunt. The 4th of February already. Time doesn't stand still. Say this all the time, and we all know it. Who knows what's going to happen on today's show? Just like all my other shows, booked guests a little while in advance, and probably too far in advance. I normally book them 2 days beforehand. Shh! Don't tell Shell. Producer, where art thou? Where are you? Oh my!
I don't know what happens. You normally have the intro video and it didn't work. It shot you straight
Okay,
on.
so you know you guys are seeing Shelley. I'm sacking her. Sack. You watch all the comments come through now. You can't do a show without Shelley. I know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's one of those days. It's one of those months.
It's one of those years. It's just one of those. If you're out there, male, female, it really doesn't matter. Can you relate? We've only just started the show, and the show's called Real Talk. And when I called it that, oh my gosh, 2018. So I flip-flops. Yes. May 2018. So that'll be 7. We've got some anniversaries this year, guys.
Big ones.
We have got some anniversaries. That'll be 7 years. Guess what happened in 2020? Apart from COVID, we gave birth to a book. Live in a lockdown 2020, behind closed doors. Do you remember what that was like? It's like a whole different, it's like a lifetime ago, isn't it? At the same time, yeah.
So strange. So strange.
Guys, if you are watching and you are out there and thinking, oh my gosh, this show is going to be super interactive. Super interactive. Because we need to know what you're thinking, where you're at. Because I don't think we're alone, Shell.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We talked, if you think about it, actually saying that, back in 2020, it was a storm, a tornado, everything, the whole. And what we said then was, we're just in different boats.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just that everybody's in different boats. Maybe some things are similar, but different boats. And there will always be storms. That's a guarantee, isn't it? Yeah. There will always be storms, and it's just how we manage and how we navigate and who we surround ourselves with to get through said storms. If my first guest isn't on, I would like to, because we haven't got a theme, and for those that are thinking like we've had a chat and what we're going to do, if you hadn't noticed, no, we haven't had a chat and we don't know what we're doing. So how can you be on like 7 years of easy?
We just make it up as we go along. We've done.
Why? Are you one of those people? Because do you know what? I probably won't be able to see the comments because I'm just on StreamYard, Shell.
Oh, Sparky's
that's
there.
Not you. Who is?
Sparky's there.
Oh, greetings, young man. Greetings. I take it you're on the show next month. Actually, we need you to be performing at something.
Oh yes.
I hope you're. I hope you're up for that. I hope you are keeping well, young man. I hope you are keeping well. We're just having a chat at the moment. It's been stormy times.
I think he's scared of performing.
Yeah, you're right to be scared, mate. You're right. And actually, do you know what? If we remember back, literally, in January, we screened The Colour Purple.
Yes.
And in February, and I do believe it was actually Valentine's Day.
It was Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. And we screened One Love. And I think that might have been the last time I saw you, Sparky. We screened One Love at Cineworld. And that was just such an amazing night on so many levels. I remember me and you bouncing up and down the aisles. People go like, "You don't do this in the cinema. You're doing ours, and we do ours. We please ourselves." If you hadn't noticed. Yeah, to be honest, that was. After that, things changed for me.
Yeah, I was about to say that was, without us knowing, that was, yeah, the whirlwind really kicked in after that as well.
Yeah. And at some stage, you will get to hear all of these things, guys. You will get to hear all of these things. So I don't know. We're having the conversation, Shell, and obviously you can post up. I don't know who's watching. I don't know who's engaging. I know we've got. Sorry,
Farky was just saying it was a fantastic event, and then he remembered Vicky Hill was there.
That's yes.
Quite a lot of people there that day. We had quite a lot of people there that day. I think we've got Vicky out there and Yvonne Michelle out there actually watching still as well.
Oh, really?
I think. But
because do you know what? In so many ways, Shell, and we'll be having conversations throughout tonight's show. And it's really important for me, for us, just as well as giving thanks for all that we have in our lives. Certainly, we're talking on behalf of like Simply Deez, how grateful and thankful we are for all of those that support and continue to support us in the things that we do.
What was you going to say then? Madness?
I was going to say work, just generally just say work, but it is kind of work, because don't think, trust me. And if Yvonne's on, I'm going to talk about Friday in just a moment.
Do you think we could call it organised chaos?
No. No. Because it just works. Do you know what I mean? It just works.
Yeah.
And if you're out there and you're watching, when we ask you to share, you'll understand, or we shouldn't even be asking you to share, because you should know that anyway. Because there's going to be somebody that you know that throughout the show is going to resonate with somebody who's going to share something, and it's what they need to hear tonight. It's what they need to hear tonight. On Friday last month, and I want to do catch-ups actually, because last month we had Yvonne Michelle on the show. I don't know if you've got anywhere, Shelley. Have you got that flyer? Have you got that? I caught you in a lie.
Not me personally, but yeah.
She probably has, but she ain't going to say.
I had to say it. I had to. See, I was waiting for you to say it.
Oh, do you know what? It's a shame I ain't producing, because trust me, I'd be muting her every minute. Every minute I got. Caught you in a lie. And Yvonne was on the show last month. We were having a chat and she was promoting the event. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying, and she'll probably say, why did you? I don't care. Volunteered services, Simply Deez. It's, you'll find us sometimes, you're thinking, what are they doing there? But they're not, because we support other people. Kind of what we do. But anyway, went along and was there and just helping, just little bits and pieces. And I don't know, literally blinked. And this is at the hat factory, full. Me and Cecile were thinking like, oh my gosh, I think we might have to get kicked out of our seats. More seats had to be put in. There was over 150 people. 150 people there. So I didn't really know what to expect, being honest. There's a live band. This is a one-woman show. When you say one woman, literally it's Yvonne and props and the band and 2 backing singers. She didn't ask me. I need to put that down on that feedback form. Yeah. That she didn't ask me to be a backing singer, so I am slightly put out by that, but let's keep it moving. Cecile was there as well, and V and Hanifa, and a few other people that we know as well. Actually, lots of people we knew. I can't even, you know, you want to try and describe something.
There's been a few. You've kind of done posts in our WhatsApp group, trying to explain what it was that you not watched, not listened to, but what you witnessed, I suppose is the best word for it. I mean, knowing what the story and stuff was about, even beforehand, and then hearing how it was for everyone. I think this was just a preview. I think it's actually going to go somewhere else.
Of course, without a doubt.
Of what you're
without,
saying.
As I say, shadow. Yvonne did throw it out there. What did us as in the audience, what did we think? Should she take it? To what have you? And you know, before the words even come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
But I knew. So this is, if I say to you, and I think you know me well enough, Shell, and I think Yvonne knows me well enough, I would say, yeah, it was all right, it was good, it was good. I can see this, and I've seen some other people post it as well. I can actually see this in the West End, and I'm not just saying that to just be. I'm telling you now.
Yeah,
I can see a film. I can see it. Again, Yvonne, if you need more backing singers, absolutely incredible. And you'd think sort of like there's quite a few guys in the audience as well. And the feedback that I know that some have given to me was, yeah, absolutely incredible. Absolutely,
that was good, because that was one of the things I was worried about, that you were going to end up being a girly audience.
No, not at all.
But for what it was, it needed to be listened to, be heard by men too. Yeah.
No, it wasn't at all.
It was good.
It wasn't at all. Absolutely incredible. Oh my gosh. Yvonne Michelle, are you watching?
Yes, she's been commenting. Yeah.
Has she?
I can't make it come up on
on the actual.
Yeah.
I'll be getting her back on, because there's more following on from that. That's kind of like, that was a seed planter that will be going on tour and whatever develops from that. But also
I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Sparky, this week me and you are catching up. Literally gone ketchup. And actually, because remember this is interactive, guys. Sparky meet Yvonne, Yvonne meets Sparky. Do you guys know one another? This is how it works, Shell.
It does.
This is how it works. Do you guys know each other? I don't know. You may do, you may not. I don't know. Definitely linkage to be made on different levels. So you might think, cool, blimey, them two have been chatting for half an hour. It may be us chatting all night. if none of me guests decide to shut up. Oh my gosh, if none of me guests decide to shut up. Anyway, we're only, 4th of Feb, and it has been so busy already this month. Yeah. This year. And I know for a fact that we've got some people coming on tonight that I definitely know are coming on. And they've got forthcoming events, and they're related. It so happens.
Just happens.
It so happens. Before, I am expecting somebody at 7:30. Her name's Sabrina. It would be lovely. Because I'll tell you what, people will be going like, damn, I knew I should have watched Dee's show. Yeah, I told you.
You're going to need words.
Now, I don't condone violence. Sparky, I don't condone it.
You're going to lick you.
You heard it from, you didn't even hear it from me. You heard it from Shelley. She said, I'll go and lick you. Yes, Sparky, she said it.
And this doesn't come from me being around you too long. It's me as I'm growing up.
See? You see that? My mum always says, even up to now, when you keep bad company, this is what happens. When you keep bad company. Even when you're elder. This doesn't just apply to when you're young, by the way, guys. It applies through the whole of your life. So just in case those people thought, oh, once they finish school, it doesn't matter what happens then. It's all the way through. How many? Drop, Sparky, Yvonne, whoever's watching, drop the phrases that you were taught, given when you were growing up. You are known by the company that you keep.
She tagged me in a post because she just put when you reach, which was the only comment on the post on Facebook.
Who?
My mate Natasha. I'm godmother to her son, and where I've been around her family for so long, it got to the point where I think it was just when her dad and everything was round our house, and I've just gone behind him and said, "Do you want a cup of tea, Dad?" He said yes. I've come back with the cup of tea, sat it down next to him, as in walked in front of him, sat it down next to him and walked off. And he went, "Thanks, love." And I walked back out in the kitchen and I went, "White is white," and I'm still his daughter.
Of course.
He just didn't bat an eyelid, and I was like, "Do you realise that it wasn't actually your child that's done any of that?" Oh, Trish reckons that it suits me. I've picked up too much.
Isn't it, Trish? Oh my gosh.
Sabrina's here.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Shell,
yes.
When we start talking, because I have got some information on Sabrina, you will be blown away. I'll be blown away. And all those people that didn't watch, thanks for supporting Trish and everybody else. But bring Sabrina on, because I've never spoken to this woman before, ever.
No, please let me bring her on before you start singing.
Excuse me, you laughing? You're laughing at me, Sabrina.
It's so much fun being backstage. I'm hearing everything you're talking about.
Now, before, don't disappear quite yet, Shell. Don't disappear. So Sabrina doesn't know me at all. We've not liaised. Well, we've liaised as in like, will you be a guest on the show? Yes, that's the extent of how. Am I right, Sabrina? Yeah, that is the extent of our communication. I've known about this lady for years, 2, 3, 4 years. And you know when you follow. And I have kind of tried to jump on her and her family for a little while, but it's not materialized until it just hasn't. It just hasn't. But obviously the timing wasn't right, Sabrina. You know how it goes. Timing until God's timing, which is now. So just a quick intro. This young lady here, Shelley, not only does she produce the show, but she's also a director in Simply Deez Events. And we do absolutely phenomenal work in the community in Luton, Bedfordshire. And yeah, so if I start singing and you're thinking like, but you can't hear me, that's because Shelley's muted me. It's not because I lost my voice. It's because there's always haters, Sabrina. You'll notice that, but you obviously know that in your line of work. There's always haters. So I just needed to introduce you to Shell. She's a very important person. So Shell, when you start looking up this young lady and some information, you'll be like, rah. So Sabrina Bentz, I can't believe it. I'm in shock. Good, honestly, good shock. So the show is called, as you can see, Real Talk with Simply Deez, and that's me. And we were talking earlier on and started the show. I used to go into a studio the first Tuesday of every month, and we'd be live like this. We'd go live in the studio, and I insisted, and somehow I got away with it until 2020. And my guests from London, wherever they came into the studio, I love things live. And people are like, why don't you do it recorded and then you can edit and then you can, and I'm like, life isn't like that.
No.
You can't kind of like, and then it doesn't work like that. If I drop off my chair, if anything, what have you, why? The girl's got the giggles. I love it. No, but if I was watching, when I watch things, I love it to be just organic, and it is what it is. You know, people have said to me, interviewed me, and then like, hear the questions, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't want any questions. You ask me what you're going to ask me, I will answer. And so this is Real Talk. If I say something and you don't, you kind of like, Dee, let's not go there, and we won't go there. I really like to find out about people. I got all your information. I don't read it. If I read all of that and it's like, I know everything. When you're talking, like, I know that already. I know that already. I don't know. I just know. So, you look like you're at home. You look like you're comfortable.
Yeah, nice and comfortable. Thank you.
Nice. So, Sabrina, I have to peel it back. And when I say peel it back, like an onion, peel things right back. You're not where you are now. And I kind of know a little piece. It didn't just happen. Do you know what I mean? It didn't just happen. So when I say peel back, I'm going to peel back as in, were you born in the UK?
Yes, I was actually. My mother wasn't, but I was.
Okay, and your mother was born?
St. Lucia.
Oh, really now? Oh, give it up for any St. Lucians in the house. All right, you could drop Montserrat. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so you were born in the UK. can I ask how many siblings you have?
I'm not sure. So I'm my mother's only child. My father's Nigerian. I'm my mother's only child, but my father has other children. I guess let's leave it there with the numbers.
Hey, that's absolutely. We all get that, you know, and we all understand that, because when comes times when people are having funerals, it's a case of like everyone's like,
yeah.
Okay. I need to know, how was school? How was school for you? Ooh, did you enjoy
it? That's such a good question. Such a long time ago. I don't even remember my children's school. It was tough. If I be entirely honest, school was tough. Okay. So I went through a lot of bullying. I had like a tracheotomy throughout like my early childhood, and then it was opened and closed a couple of times throughout my about 8, 9. So it was, I had quite a lot of chronic illnesses during childhood. So schooling was really tough. I know there was a lot of bullying. I didn't look like other kids. I was in an area where most people came from a 2-parent household. I was raised in a single-parent household. So I went through a lot of bullying at school and in my area. School got good in secondary school. I was a tomboy. I learned how to stick up for myself. You know, I used to stand up for the underdogs, and I used to play for Mill Lionesses. So,
oh wow,
football was everything for me. So I used to play for them. I used to train. I think they were called Bow Tigers at the time. You're bringing back some memories. So I used to train kids from Bow Tigers, and we were a really good team. Like Mill Lionesses, we played well. Some of our girls went off to play for England.
Wow.
So school was challenging, very challenging. I loved media studies. I was okay at the rest of the subjects, but for some reason that caught my attention. I remember my teacher saying connotation and denotation. I was like, what's that? I've never heard about that before. And that's the things that kind of stands out. I was the class clown. I was a daughter of a hairdresser. So do you remember when they used to do those hairstyles where they put all the grease and gel and they used to like press on your face?
Yeah.
My mum went to school like that, and I never forget walking into the classroom, everyone laughing, and including the teacher, like, why is she coming to school like that? And it was just, yeah, school was interesting. Let's just say that. Very interesting.
Okay, so when you left school, what did you do? Did you go college? Did you go uni? What path did you take?
Such a good question. So I think, if I remember correctly, I remember going to see a careers advisor, and she gave me completely different advice to what I asked. I remember saying I wanted to go to university. I had all these big dreams. Towards the ends of school, I did some work experience at News International, and I did really well. And I remember speaking to my mum. My mum said, whatever you want to do, like, just do that. And then I spoke to my dad. So I met my dad when I was about 9. And at that time, I wanted to please Dad. You know, it's kind of like, my dad's here. I want to get his approval. So I remember Mum saying, you can do whatever you want in terms of the journey. If you want to start there, do that. Because they had offered me a role to stay on. And then I remember speaking to my father, and he said to me, no, like, you know, being Nigerian, I think it was something like, you know, doctor, accountant, and something else. And I was like, that's all the choices. So I remember that kind of back and forth. And eventually I did go to Newham College and Tower Hamlets College, and I'm not sure which one came first. And then I remember my step-grandfather passing away. And I remember as a child, I said, that's why I left college. But I think I hid behind it. I think I never really wanted to be there. And I remember leaning on the fact that I had lost my step-grandfather as a reason why I didn't want to continue. I was doing business studies. And then I went to university when I became a mum at 20. So pregnant at 19, gave birth at 20. And I remember I went to uni a bit later than my peers.
That's a lot. So for me, I didn't know it. I don't know any of this, and it's a case of like knowing the foundation, as in like where you're coming from. where you've been and where you're coming from to then, as obviously, so you're you're 20 with a child.
Yes.
Were you living at home, or were you?
I was living at home at the time. Yes. Well, I was at home and he was at home, not in our home, but our parents' homes. Yeah, so it was interesting. So I somewhat went from being a child, teenager, and then becoming a mum.
And this is it. My sister, very similar situation. I think she was 17, and back then, she doesn't watch the show, don't worry. But my niece is on, her daughter. But back then, it was literally a case of like, the family, when they heard, it was just like, oh my God, the worst thing ever. And from friends of the family, even work. And it was just, and I was older than my sister at the time. Well, I still am, obviously, but I was older than my sister. And for me, it was kind of, oh my gosh, there's this young little baby, and I kind of felt like mum, obviously to my niece. But in terms of how the outside perceived what was going on and what have you, it was massive, absolutely massive. And I think back now, as in the support that we should have had, that she should have had. It's one of those things, I think sometimes you get more support and love from outsiders sometimes than those that potentially maybe you should. You're nodding your head. Yes. Yeah. So, I don't know. How did you navigate at that age?
If I be honest, I don't remember much, if I be honest. At that age, there was definitely a lot of judgment. That I think it was kind of, there was judgment, but they sort of assumed the worst for me. So it wasn't expected that I wouldn't have been a teenage mum, if that makes sense. I know that a lot of people expected me to somewhat fail coming from a single parent household. You know, I was that child. I was like my dad. There was so many comments. And I think in a way, it kind of lays the foundation, so to speak, with regards to what you're saying. So being a black sheep, the outcast, the kind of frowned upon, when you become a mother, it's different for yourself. You know, you've got your own coping mechanisms, but I was like, for my daughter, it was like, I don't have an option to fail. You know, I have to fight for her. I have to make sure I create something for her that I think I didn't know it at the time, but I think that was the birthing of the legacy. I knew that I had to create something that was generational. So I knew I had to break generational cycles. So my grandma gave birth to my mum 20. So my grandma was pregnant at 19, my mum was pregnant at 19, and then I was. And I was like, that's not happening with my daughter. That cycle's going to end. So I knew that at some level, but you can't connect the dots until you look back. But I knew at some level, I was going to break things. Something was going to end with me, but also things were going to start with me. So I became very intentional. Like, my daughter changed my life. I became incredibly intentional, dealing with a lot. But because I had gone through a lot of ridicule, judgment, being the outcast, there for everybody, but not having people for myself, it was like water off duck's back. It wasn't relevant what was being said about me at that time. I knew I had to speed up in order to keep up, because I was against quite a lot. And I just knew that I wanted her to have so many things in terms of access, opportunities, experiences. And I just took the hands of God and I danced with life.
So I know some of the things that you're referring to, but obviously I've got an audience. By the way, Shelley, the producer, has just given me the stats. We are at 999,000 viewers now. We want to get to the 1 million marker, Sabrina. So no pressure.
Oh, there's no pressure. If you read my bio, That's my aim. We want to help 1 million families, so we can do it tonight. I've got to go on to the next stream. That's beautiful. That is actually really
you know I'm joking, don't you?
No, actually I don't. I think, you know, when you touch one person, it's a nation, the way I see it.
Well, this is partly, we may not sort of like, there may not be masses kind of watching now, and what we get is sort of like people then watch later on, and then people then share it with somebody else, and then in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months time, there was a lady on your show, I think her name was Sabrina. Yes. And start asking questions and that's why we say to people to share, because something you might hear tonight may not be for you. You can guarantee it's going to be potentially for someone you do know. And it could be what they just need to hear, whether it's words of encouragement, whether it's like, oh my gosh, that was me. I didn't think I could this, I didn't think I could that. And actually, I know who that woman is. And if she can do that, maybe I can dig just a little bit deeper.
Absolutely.
Maybe I can dig just a little bit deeper. What would you say, apart from your children, which we'll talk about, was your first success where you thought, do you know what, Sabrina, you may have just done it wasn't talked about then, but you may have just got a mic drop.
My first
moment
before my children. Gosh, that's a big one. If I be honest, I'm just going to say what dropped into my heart. So my first success was a personal one. It's not necessarily something people would have seen, but the first success was that I didn't have a voice until I was 31, very like actively. But as a child, I remember choosing me. And I think that was the biggest success for me in my childhood, teenage years, because I was never chosen by those that should have chosen me, been there for me. You know, my mum was there, but I went through a lot of rejection, a lot of outcasting. And I remember this teaching of love. It was just like, there must be a reason for me to be on this planet. I think by that time, I had gone through so much pain. I was just in agony, and I just wanted the pain to stop. And I wanted to have a sense of purpose for my life. So all I ever heard was stories of me not being wanted. You know, from the time mum was pregnant, there was, you know, people weren't happy on both sides of the family. You know, when I was in hospital, dad never showed up, and they would basically, in the 80s, they would do like a prayer in the hospital when someone's really poorly. The priest would come to bless them before they, you know, transition. And mum said that happened on 2 occasions. So the first occasion, her side came. And I think that mum, I'm not sure it was the first or second time, but there was, I think both. He didn't come to the hospital, but also other people didn't come the second time. So hearing all these stories, I was like, whoa, even at death, it was pretty clear that you wasn't wanted. And I was kind of a burden to so many. So I remember feeling guilt that I must have impacted my mother's life so badly, and that I brought her problems. My existence was a problem. But I remember just being in love with God. And I think that was my biggest and first success, because it was at that moment that I chose to love me. And I was just happy. And people would say, what are you smiling for? I just had the joy of God inside of me. I couldn't sit still. I was always dancing. If music came on, it was like I was fueled by the Holy Spirit. That's the only way. When I'm looking back, I would just be dancing. I'd be dancing in my own little world. And for a child that went through so much, I shouldn't have been so happy. It doesn't really make sense. Yeah. There was quite a lot that happened in my childhood. So my first success definitely was choosing me. And I had this picture, I always talk about this picture roughly about 7, where I drew this bridge. And my idea was, if I can get people from affluent backgrounds to cross the bridge and meet halfway with people that didn't have much, they could exchange. So we always had something that we can exchange, be it love, resources, money. Wow. We always had something to give the other. And that became my quest in life. And I became more observant. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to help people. Because I never had no meaning for me. I wasn't wanted. So I was like, I'm going to serve. And I guess that's when I began my journey towards servitude leadership. I didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't know that's what it was.
When I do sort of like shows and have sort of like, as I sort of said, we've not spoken before, I don't know your background, don't know anything at all. I'm kind of like, so when I pause, people, the show's real, it's live. And it's like me just kind of getting a moment, kind of thinking like, wow. This is God's, this is when they say God's timing, because, you know, when I said I've been trying to, and certain things had to happen, and now is the time for you to be on. You've only spoken a little bit. I know you might think a lot, but it's not. A little bit. And already I'm stealing some of those nuggets that you may not think or know, but there's some of the stuff that you've said that I'm like, I'm grabbing hold of. Oh my gosh. Wow. Where are them young people then? Where are they? Are they all around? Are they?
My children, some of them are out, some of them are cooking, they're all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those watching and thinking like, who's talking like the woman's got picnic? She has. Oh, yeah. If you don't know, you should be looking it up.
Football team.
Yeah, near enough. The dream team. Well, there's. Am I right in saying there's 5?
There's 5. Yes.
Did you hear that? 5 incredible, amazing young people, individuals. What are their names, Sabrina?
Lachey is my eldest. I have Trey Sean. So first is a daughter, second is a son, Trey Sean. My middle child is Yasmin. I have my next child. So 24, 20, 17, 15 is Paolo. He's my second to last boy. And then my youngest is Amir. He's 11.
Quite a big, well, when I say big, but there's a
yeah.
age range there, 11, 24.
Yeah, so there's 13-year gap between the oldest and the youngest, but they're the best friends, the two of them. It's funny.
I don't know where you're getting the time to not have the kids. I ain't that bad. I'm bad, but I ain't that bad. Shell's like, I bet Shell's messaging me on WhatsApp right now saying, I don't believe you said that. I just meant as in like 11. I mean, my eldest granddaughter, she's 13 now. Aww. So 11, I'm like, okay, got a kind of an idea what an 11-year-old, but it's a whole different ball game from then 11 to 24, right? As in like how things were then and how things are now.
Oh, completely different, totally different. We've got different challenges as parents now. So yeah, the 2000s, yeah, we've got technology, we've got kids being the adults now, haven't we? We've got societal changes. So it's a very interesting journey, because although you're a mother of 5, you're a mother 5 times over, because obviously they have different personalities, different age groups. So, but I will say, going back to childhood, it was my dream to become a mum. So like I am living the dream. Like everything else is a bonus. I always wanted 6 kids. So definitely.
Oh, okay. Okay, so just waiting for the next one, yeah?
No, we're not doing that.
Okay. Oh, you just said.
I always wanted, no, 5 is okay. I'm maybe I'll have a boat somewhere, but yeah.
Oh, right. I was thinking like, oh, she's dropping a little hint there. I thought, this is a little scoop I've got on my show. I thought, oh.
That's so funny.
Do you know what the worst thing is? I'm not even trying. Okay. I'm too bad, honestly.
That happened to me last time.
Oh, Shell, I hope you're making notes. Oh, well, this is all. You do realise we are. Did I mention that we're live? Did you know that? You know this isn't a recording, don't you? You know this is going out to the masses.
Yes.
Oh, I think you've just pushed us over the 1 million marker, girl. Well done. They're going like, come on, Sabrina, Sabrina, another one, another one. And the kids are going like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
So, we've all got a pair of hands, right? And do you know what? Juggling is one thing. But juggling success and kids and yourself and all the other things that you have to. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, we've got this thing about being like a Wonder Woman, Superwoman, super mum, super friend, super daughter, everything. And as much as we've only got a pair of hands, there's only one of us, and you still got to sleep, you still got to rest, well, you're supposed to be, but we're trying to juggle so much. How do you do it?
Do I or did I? Which would you think is more valuable? Now it's different. You know, I've learned to find my balance.
Did you?
Yeah, I think that's maybe best value for the listeners. So I think the first thing that comes to mind is I never grew up in a family infrastructure. So you could have given me 12 kids. I didn't know what it looked like. So I guess I didn't have the resistance. Does that make sense? There's something very sacred. Like if you tell a child they can never fail, that child will exceed everything they do because they don't know that, oh, I'm failing. When they fail, they just get back up. They'll just keep going. So when people started to see what I was doing, it was a case of, oh, what's that? Isn't that what everyone's doing? So I was in my bubble. Like I said, I took the hands of God and I was dancing. And when we're dancing, we're not watching everyone else dancing. When you're really dancing like no one's watching you, when you're really singing like no one else can hear you, you get into this Zen mode. So I think because I always wanted a family, because I was living the dream, because I was searching for a place to call home, I was in my bubble. So I wasn't doing things in the way other people would do it. So how I balanced it is that because, you know, I didn't have twins, I think that would have been a bit of more of a hot mess. I always describe my motherhood journey as a hot mess. You know, it wasn't pretty, but my imperfection is all I had for my children. And it's like seeing someone spin a plate, and the minute you say you're spinning 5, they drop them all. I think because I was in my bubble, I was able to just do what I was doing and thinking it was the norm. So what I started to do is think about my own childhood and think about where is the two-way communication. And there's nothing wrong with what they did. I think I'm a traditionalist. I love what they did because we can see the state of society now. You know, so much of us can agree that we haven't got better, it's got worse. So sometimes we think, okay, it was really adverse, so we go to the other end of the Richter scale, but it's really about finding balance. So one of the things I started to do was just ask my kids, like, what are your superhero skills? So I love the way you said, like, how do you manage this and that and this? At first, I started to do the work-life balance. That did not work. It was a complete mess. It was a shambles. I was a wreck because I was, you know, going out to work or creating my dreams, coming home. My husband at the time didn't know what planet I was on. My kids at the time didn't know. My kids didn't know what planet I was on. So I felt like an alien coming home and growing and doing things. And what I realized is actually we separate things that are actually all interconnected. One of our mentors, Reverend Adams, actually, whose wall that you popped up on, I loved when he said to one of my sons during a mentoring session, he said, you are the subject and everything else is a discipline. And I was blown away, and my children were blown away. And I say that to say this, it was pretty much, we were the subject and everything else was just a discipline. And what I realized, we are taught to have everything as a separation in life. And when he said that, it gave me a way of linguistically explaining it to other people, because that's what I was doing all the time. So instead of me going to work and coming home, I was able to unconsciously, because it wasn't conscious at the time, to amalgamate my life, work, raising kids, everything together. That's why today we get to travel together. I'm homeschooling, because the separation was causing the issue. When we think we're doing science, English, maths, don't you read when you're doing maths? Don't you read when you're doing science? Isn't there science in maths? Isn't there maths in science? So we exist in a world where there's so much separation that's programmed into us, when actually everything's interconnected. And I started to think of, how do I want to be fluid with my parenting? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like free parenting when you just do what you're doing. You have to have manners, you have to have respect your elders. But it was more about, how do I cultivate them? Why are you here? Like, I asked my kids, like, what are your superhero skills? What have you come to do? Like, what do you think what's the solutions to some of the problems that you see in the world? And I remember being in a room and they all started firing off. And it was at that moment that they connected me to my childhood. When we are children, we are natural problem solvers. When we go through life, it gets knocked out of us, literally. For some people, it's physically knocked out of us. For others, you're just told it's delusion, it's this, get out of the clouds, stop being a dreamer, dream and never get there. And what I realized is that every single family has its own unique blueprint. There's nothing you need to do. You just need to cultivate it. You don't have to instill it in children, you cultivate it. It's already there. I love when scripture talks about, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. And in that essence, he put something in there. So I felt that my role as a mum, instead of being a dictator, because I was learning, motherhood is hard. And what I realized, each child that came had something different to reveal to me and teach me. And I was on Google one time and I stumbled upon, I don't know if you've seen this, when a mother's carrying a baby, the baby actually sends stem cells to damaged organs. And like, so many different things were happening. And then I heard about, in tribes, about how they say spiritually a child comes to heal aspects of the mother's spiritual journey. And it just dawned on me that it's less about me teaching them and they don't know nothing. And it's more, again, back and forth. And that's really what started to happen.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Rudy, hold tight. Oh, okay. So the audience out there are going like, right, okay, Deez, who are you, Sabrina?
Who am I?
Who are you? Yeah, who are you? Tell us where you are. You're coming back, you know that anyway. Tell us where you are, kind of like your journey at the moment now, and about the children, because I think a lot of the audience here may have either heard about or just think, oh, she's a nice lady, isn't she? And have got, well, I'll tell them differently when you're off the screen. Yeah, tell us where you're at, what's happening, what's happened.
So basically, to kind of sum it up, because there's many hats that I wear, I serve. So I serve in the area of families and education. So I've set up a secondary school in West Croydon. Some of you might know of it, called Harris Invictus. I'm one of the founding directors. The president of there actually is a father, and he basically built that school from ground zero for his son. That's how, like, it's an incredible story. So I'm one of the founding directors there. I'm a mother of 5. I'm a publisher as well, so I publish books. I'm also an author. I speak around the world on stages alongside my family. Gosh, what do I do? Everything to do with education. So I'm actually a UN Women delegate as well. I'm a multi-award winner. I don't know if any of you know Clarence Seedorf, the famous Dutch player. That's phenomenal legends. Well, we flew out to, thanks to him, we flew out to his foundation talk last year in Dubai, and then we went to Qatar, and we had the most incredible time out there. We were on stage sharing a message, and I actually got an award from his foundation. So the platform's called the Global Black Impact Summit 2024, and the Black Impact Foundation awarded me Visionary of the Year award. So I've got multiple accolades, and sometimes I feel very guilty because there's so many, I don't remember all of them. I'm actually dyslexic. So one of the awards I got was for Best Dyslexic Business. I've had Mother of the Year award. I've been recognized as the #2 most inspirational Black woman here in the UK in The Voice. They have a special filtration that they do. So there's quite a lot of information about what we do online. So, you know, my kids have done TED Talks. I'm just a change maker. I want to change the narrative around parenting and how we position our children for opportunities. We need to stop auctioning our children to the highest bidder, teach them to plant in their own forest before they go and plant seeds in other people's forests. And I really...
Stop. This is like, pretend you're at a dance and you know when everyone's like, rewind. Rewind that. Because what it is, you said it, I heard it, and I'm like going like, that's a nugget that I need all of us to hear again. So replay that one, sis.
Which aspect did you get up to? The auctioning, the forest?
All of them, all of that bit. All of that.
So my background is in psychology. So because I've had a lot of healing done, there's so much that we've done, but to get the gist of it, I started to break down the psychology dynamics of how we live. And everything that we do is a science. Poverty is a science, wealth is a science. And what I realized is if we get the same result over and over again, it's not an accident, it's a science. If state schools are producing children and are not succeeding past a certain aspect, that's not an accident, it's a science. And that's what it was intended for. I often have conversations with parents and they say school systems failing our children. I said, it's not, that's what they're there for. There is certain things that's going on that we need to educate ourselves. But cut a long story short, I always say to parents, we need to stop auctioning our children off to the highest bidder. What do we think we do? We give them tuition, we get them into the best grammar schools, state schools, we then get them to the best college, get them to the best university, they get the best job and they go away. They see you once a year. If you look at the psychology of that, is if they become a hedge fund executive in a blue chip company, how comes you don't have a family hedge fund trust fund? Because you should teach your children to plant a seed in your own forest and also plant seeds in other people's forests, because we do need to work together. We live in a global world. We don't need to isolate ourselves. We need to learn to speak the language of other people. So we need to learn to position our children for opportunities, but they are the prize. The prize isn't the role. So why would someone call the salary a compensation package? So in my motherhood journey, I started to just listen to linguistics. What was you actually compensating me for? It was auctioning your child to the highest bidder. You see, I have to compensate you for taking your child out of your village to build my village and leave yours derelict. And that really bothered me, because I don't mind if I feed you one day, you feed me. But if you feed your belly big and you don't want my children to get fed, I then start thinking something's not right here. There's a dynamics imbalance. So I'm all about transforming the narrative around how we raise our children. Let's stop saying, you know, get the best grades, let's get into the best schools. What's your plan? 9 times out of 10, if you ask a parent why they're sending their child to school, they don't know. I sent my child to school because that's what you do. The reality is some of us send our children to school for childcare. If we just be honest, that I don't have no one to mind my kids when I'm going to work, childcare. The next is I send my child to school for education. If that was true, children are educated all day, every day. They learn to walk at home. They learn to speak another language at home. They learn so much. If we're not double educating, it's a waste of time. Yes, educating at school, but educate at home. You need to be at the forefront of your child's development. So that's kind of the hat that I wear, is how do we educate our children and what are we educating them for? Leaders are avid readers, but the reality is, the caveat there is, what are your children reading? Sometimes they're bookworms, but what are they reading? What do they understand? What are they being exposed to? So I really tap into the aspects of the psychology around what we do, why we do, and how we do it. So you can be in a private school, but if you don't know why you're there, you're just going to go and build someone else's dreams because you haven't started building your own. So we need to teach children dynamics. If you want to become a doctor or a lawyer, you need a degree, yeah, right? You wouldn't want a surgeon to kind of say, I kind of know what I'm doing. There's a professionalism there. But the reality is, if you ask the average child, how would you set up a hospital? How would you set up a GP practice? I don't need a degree to set up a GP practice tonight, as we are now in another country or here. I need to know how to gather and be a fisherman of men, gathering people that are already doing it. And I love, there's a quote, 50 Cent said it. It was one of my kids that brought it up. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people I hire did. And we need to give children the idea that everything is possible. You can still educate yourself. I'm not against education, but everything has to be with an intention. Educate. You could be the owner of several companies, several establishments. You can set up a law firm by gathering people together, being good about connecting people together. So that's kind of the area I sit in, and I demonstrate that by the activities that I do with my kids. So they've done like their TED Talks, they speak on stage, anything I do, they've practically done it. My daughter's written a scientific white paper. They sit on boards, they mentor people. So we do everything as a family.
I think you may have left me slightly speechless. Purely, I can't even believe you're on, to be honest. I can't believe you're on. Because I can't see the comments, because I've got to be on my phone tonight. Shell, producer, can you just pop on for just one moment? Sabrina, this is not over by no means, young lady. You think you've escaped, but you ain't escaped nothing. This is about, I didn't mention this because I thought if I give you too much information, you might not show up. This is just a little warm up, just a little something. Don't think this is it. And Shelley will tell you, once the hooks are in, that's it, game over.
You lovingly get stuck.
Isn't it? So honestly,
what I would say is that you've only touched the surface. If you on our comments has actually got like your links, so people that are watching and people are watching on the replays, they will normally do. Click on those links. I've been sat here looking through some of the bits while I've been listening to you, and it's an amazing all the different bits and pieces that you've actually then been a part of, very much like us, in as much as that it's not what you're doing, you're empowering those around you to do what they need to do.
That's it.
Then it's not you bigging up yourself.
We don't do that. We don't. There's no looking glass. It's come and do it with us. Yeah. If I want a utopia for my children tomorrow, there has to be a gathering. And right now we are raising up families. It's a very divine journey. So there's a song in my childhood.
You're going to sing?
No, I can't sing. No, I won't do that to you.
No, I don't mind, darling.
I think it's Terry Garman. Anyway you bless me. Anyway you bless me, Lord, is fine as long as you bless me. So remember that calling of give my life meaning. So I chose a life of servitude. And the aspect is I'm going around and gathering God's people. There are things that you can do I can't do. There are things that each of you can do. And there's a wider community. So our family is just the activator. We're a conduit of love. And we're activating. If God can do it with us, that had no one, everyone didn't want, God was showing the world what's possible. And really and truly, as people see our family, I want them to be able to just really question what they're doing with the meaning of their life. Really talk to their creator. It doesn't matter who their creator is. This isn't a conversion program. Speak to your creator about what it is that you're doing on this planet. What is it that the family, why do you have this family? What is the blueprint? What is the unique messaging? So we're setting up publishing houses for families. We're teaching families how to write books, how to speak on stage. you know, telling kids there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. Why? Because it's not what we've created. That's how children are created. We didn't know nothing about mistakes. They'd be like, stop that, stop that, stop that. You don't listen, because we just keep going. And the reality is we want to preserve that natural curiosity that we all have.
Yeah.
We all have it. And it's our linguistics. The minute you say to a child, be entrepreneurial, they're like, oh, some children don't have that. Say to a child, are they creative? What do you create? What do you solve? Every child will be firing off. Our linguistics either liberate and catapult us, or they keep us captive and hold us back. And the reality is, I had struggles in school. I'm, you know, registered dyslexic. I have all different disabilities and everything. And I think the reason I went through all these challenges, the reason that we went through challenges as families, even to mums that have gone through DV, like I'm a survivor of DV. And I just feel that our whole life is to say, I know what you've been through, wake up the community. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to thrive. Where's the community? Let's come out and support each other. Don't come out when something goes wrong. Let's come out, knock on each other's doors, and someone needs a meal, someone needs a new pair of trousers. So we started going into homes, so we help families set up different businesses, and we get them opportunities. We're just jump-starting what we got. We don't tell families what to do. We ask them, what is it you're doing, and how can we fulfill that missing piece by us or someone that we might know?
It's something that I was talking about the other day, actually, because it's in my childhood, because I'm the youngest on my dad's side of the family with all the cousins, and I'm kind of in the middle of the cousins on my mum's side. But on my mum's side, my mum's the eldest, and my uncle is only 2 years older than my brother. So we always grew up with aunts, uncles, cousins that were all at different ages. So we kind of, I called it self-regulated when I was talking about it, but it's knowing who to talk when you're talking to someone older, when you're talking to someone younger, and still having that same kind of a conversation. So for me, I don't feel any problems at all being best friends with someone that's in their 70s to someone that's 16. It's just how you are, your level in your friendship, and your level with how you're working with people. And I think that's then been lost. You haven't got those aunties that are not really your aunties kind of thing anymore, or the neighbour that will have no qualms to actually then pulling you up because you've done something wrong. We're missing all of that in life, and then you're missing that when you're then older as well.
It's so strange, because one of the guests that was due on tonight and he can't make it, I was going to say to him, which I've not had the opportunity to do so before, and certainly publicly, is that he's known Jordan because of the football and all that sort of stuff. But Jordan so looks up to him, and to me, he's kind of looked after him, and I've not had the opportunity to say thank you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I wanted to do that, but unfortunately he's working tonight and couldn't make it on the show. So that's for you, Scully. When you come on, I am going to thank you. Because he talks about, it's so nice when they're talking about somebody, an elder that has done positive things or guided them in a way, and that's exactly what you're talking about, Shell. And honest to God, and I was gutted when he said can't make. I thought, I wanted to sort of say thank you, because do you know what I mean? Jordan talks about him and he's going like, yeah, and he's this and he's that, and I'm like, things that, I mean, my son's he's 32 now, but things have changed so much, even in the space of sort of like things have just changed so much.
It's sad. It really is sad. But the golden nugget of what you're discussing is intergenerational conversation. That's the priceless aspect. And I love that, because when you have that, it develops you. The cultivation process means we have to have several contact points. And unfortunately, so many kids are struggling with anxiety, isolation, and there really isn't any such thing as community in some aspects. Some people are blessed to still have that, and it's really nice. But the reality is, the biggest issue in the world is loneliness. How can we be lonely and there's so many of us? So something's going wrong. Something's been distorted.
So for those that are watching, and this is news to Sabrina, this is part 1. Just go like you're having a laugh. This is part one. And it's only because we've got a guest waiting in the wings and has been. But otherwise you weren't going nowhere.
Turned up too.
Who?
The mum has turned up too.
Mum.
Oh, my Auntie V's turned up too.
Oh, I thought you meant Rudy's mum. I thought she's not his mum.
No.
Sorry. Ask Sabrina. Yeah, Sabrina's. When you watch this back, you'll be going like, I'm
not talking. Yeah.
Sabrina will be going like, next time you guys need to vet what shows I go on. I didn't know.
No. Honestly, I know what I need to do each time I show up, so it's fine.
Thank you on so many levels, Sabrina. Seriously. I said we're in Luton. You're coming. We're going to talk, and yeah. I don't. Is she laughing, Shell? We're going to work something out. I'm going to work something out.
Nikkei was watching as well. Nikkei, I hope you've actually clicked on some of the links, or you might be driving
She'll
around.
be blown away. Absolutely blown away. Yeah. Sabrina, I'm going to contact yourself, your team, tomorrow. But thank you so much for coming, for being so open. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just, yeah. Honestly, God, do you know what? Of the people that I had on today, I was thinking you were going to be the one that wasn't going to make it.
That's interesting.
And I was going to start bawling. I wasn't even going to cry. I was going to bawl.
You know, I don't know if you've seen. I sent you a message on LinkedIn. We didn't see the link. And
oh, did you not? No, I haven't.
It's very interesting. It's in my diary, right? And we were just winding down for the evening, and I could have went out. The strangest thing is, it was in my diary and I didn't see it. I looked through my diary every morning and I plan out my day. And it was my son in the family group. He goes, "Oh, Mum, good luck with your interviews." I was like, "It's not today. Because I'm interviewing people for the Unheard Cries of a Mother, the post that you responded to." And I said, "That's very interesting, because you were saying you thought I would miss it. I literally almost missed the interview had my son not dropped that into the family chat." But
which son is that? Which son do I need to thank?
The second to eldest one, Trey Sean. And it's
Trey Sean.
Couldn't see
it.
Your
little diamond. That's for you, Dov.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
No, thank you. And what was going to say, just Rudy will understand. Rudy will understand how important this is. Rudy, you're coming on in like literally 3 minutes. The project that you're running, that's where I kind of like, right, let me see if I can't grab this young lady now. The is it a podcast? What are you? The interviews that you're doing for the mothers.
So it's a book and podcast. So this is the book.
That's it.
The Cries of a Mother. So that's the book of the mothers that have gone through the pain. So we've also got a podcast version, but it's called The Unheard Cries of a Mother.
Wow. All of that, I'm going to get all that information as well, and certainly get you back. You're coming to Luton. Don't make me have to come up there. Forget.
No, I'm laughing. Reverend Trevor Adams. We're already in the process of doing things. We go up and down to Luton quite often. That's why I'm laughing.
All right. It's I visually have not seen you. No. Not to say I'm everywhere. I've been to the is it Reach, the educational events that they have in May. But yes, we will link. Thank you so much. And yeah, seriously, just bless all of you for all that you're doing for all of us.
Thank you so much.
Continue the good work, darling.
I will do. Thank you so much.
All right.
Take care.
I will do. Bye. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you guys are going like, so how did you manage that? Yeah, if you don't know, you look that up and you'll be going like, how's Dee got that young lady on the show, on Real Talk? Am I lying, Shell? Isn't that massive? What's just gone down? Massive! Oh, God. Yeah, anyway, I can chat forever. Shell, we're going to catch up in a bit. Obviously, once Rudy ain't going to believe it. He'll be going like, I know she don't want me on her show. Rudy. Blessings, young man. Blessings to you.
Too.
Do you know what? I don't even know how long we've known each other. We've known each other before COVID.
Well, before COVID, yes.
Yeah, before COVID. And via different sources. Do you not have me on a show yet? Do you not have me? So bearing in mind, did you hear me, guys? I've known this guy over 5 years, and he's never, ever. It's not like he's been invited, but he's not even been invited.
Not even invited.
And it's bad.
I thought so.
So I know. So that's why I'm mentioning it. We're live on the show.
Rude.
I know. We're live on the show. I take it. And I was like, God's timing. You see that? You think about it, Rudy. I could have had you on the show, and I don't know. I've had so many amazing guests, but please tell me you must have been listening to Sabrina just now.
I was listening. I was inspired, actually. I thought I was glad to catch the end of that. Also 45 minutes or so. And, there's some nuggets in there that resonate with me greatly. And I think should resonate with everyone, to be fair. Particularly those of us who have lived a life to some degree and looking back and thinking, there's a lot of things to still do.
Yes.
There's words of wisdom in everything she was speaking about. So I really enjoyed that.
Fabulous. So I've got the initial bit. I said sorry publicly. It's out there. I can't retract it now. I sorry, but me not sorry. Oh, Rudy, you know me well enough. No, you know what? It's just how it's been, and then things have happened, and then I'm like, right, I've seen something. I'm going like, right, hook, crook, reaching out to this young man, and naturally he said yes. So ta-da!
Well, I'm impressed. What made you choose me to come on today? What was your inspiration behind that?
You were advertising something, you're doing something, and I was like, right, let me get him on. That can kind of work with promoting what you're doing, as in like something. I can't remember if it's this month. I think it's this month, or is it next month? I can't remember.
Next month.
As an event.
Yeah.
That we'll talk about a little bit later on. Yes. So I know you've not been on the show before, Rudy, and if you didn't know, we are beaming live to the masses on Facebook and on YouTube, and the show is called Real Talk with my good self. And yeah, people sort of say, why don't you do a recorded show? I'm like, I don't want it recorded, where you can edit and make it all nice and all pretty and all just because life, as I said to Sabrina, isn't like that.
Yeah, true. So this is
life
raw.
Isn't like that. Exactly. And organic. Because people sort of saying to me, like, what are you going to ask me? And I'm like, we're having a conversation. It ain't no interview. We're having a conversation.
I like that.
Because where it goes, because I ain't know. And I love that, because I don't know. And sometimes I'm like going like, I wasn't expecting that.
No, I like that. I'm hoping for that completely. And I'm hoping that your audience will be inspired. I mean, if it's anything to go by Sabrina, I mean, I hope it continues, because that was
most definitely. So I don't know which part you caught, but I have to treat everybody the same, Rudy. And everybody's an onion right now, so I've got to peel it back.
I'm waiting.
So for the masses out there, I only know as much as I've sort of said about having Rudy on the show. I don't really know Rudy. I don't really know him. So with that, and even though you sent information that I just said to Sabrina just now, I've got information from her team, and I'm like, if I read all of that, I know it all, and I don't want to. For me, I don't want to know it all. I like to kind of just draw that and like, okay. So, were you born in the UK, young man?
I'm born in the UK, Lewisham, South East London.
Oh, one of them. Yes.
The nice posh part of Lewisham.
Leave us alone.
Hey.
Leave us alone. Okay. And you're one of how many?
There's 4 of us. I've got my older brother Albert and my 2 younger sisters Elizabeth and Claudette.
Ah, so you're. So hang on a minute. Did you say you're the youngest?
No, I'm second. I've got my older brother.
So you're after Al, and then it's the 2 girls after.
Yes, okay. That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So, how was school for you, Rudy?
School was.
Did you enjoy it?
No, I didn't enjoy it that greatly, to be fair. We had our ups and downs. It was a lot of at the time of growing up. One of the things that stood out for me at the time was to some degree a bit of hostility, because there was a lot of racism back in those days. So we had to enjoy that. So is over a few years there was stuff that rose up, and that affected the school. And for some of us, we felt it. Some of us didn't get the opportunities that we expected or should have gotten as well. So the attention we should have gotten. So we kind of found our own way, So sometimes we had missed opportunities. Most things we did was play sports. That's where we got the encouragement. But apart from that, that was about it. So it wasn't a great experience, to be honest.
I'm hearing that. I was speaking to somebody today, and I said I attended school every day. I did not bunk off. I didn't do none of that because I knew what was going to happen if I did. Did you? Yeah. I hope you attended school.
No, I was a good kid. We were brought up good, and even though we attended school, I think looking back on that now, there was a lack of investment. There's a lack of information about what opportunities were out there, what we could have worked towards. And as I've looked back as a mature adult, you realize that, that was a limiting area, school. I love what Sabrina was saying, that there's so many things that we learn all the time. We discover things all the time. And sometimes you have to walk away from school and educate yourself, and so that self-education is what's changed my life greatly. Not because of school or the teachers.
And what was maybe, I think, sort of like years back, and even now actually planted in us. And we were sort of like, and because you spent more time at school, in all fairness, than you did at home. Yeah,
absolutely. We some of us our characters are crafted at school based on the friends, based on the teachers in our lives, based on how we were treated, based on how we were spoken to or spoken down to in some cases. That affected us, affected our confidence, affected our mindsets, affected our attitudes and our behaviors, and so sometimes the frustration we took out when we got home, and vice versa to some degree. So, school and school environment has a lot to answer for.
Okay, wow. So school was, you did get there.
I attended.
You did what you needed to do. So
Absolutely.
Come 16 now, was it a case of sort of like going on to college, or did you find a job? What did you do?
So here's the thing, back in those days, it wasn't, I don't think in my circle anyway, was encouraged to go to college or university. I went to college, not university. I went to college for a couple of years. That was fun. That was off my own back, to be fair, not so much parents guiding you so much, but off my own back to go to college. Did that for a little while. Did a BTEC, so that was quite fun. Levels, so that was quite fun. But that was a turning point, because you met another group of people coming from different walks of life, and that's where, to some degree, growth came in. Developing how to communicate, how to speak to different people, and so on. So that was really quite powerful. That was quite an experience. I enjoyed college.
So, what were you doing at college? What were you studying? What was your, don't know.
Well, at college it was BTEC. I did an A level as well, so for further education. So I did BTEC predominantly. And the idea was to go into accounts actually as well. So I wanted to go and do that.
That sounds boring.
It was boring. I think I went into because someone said that's how you could make money. So I studied accounts thinking, oh yeah, but it didn't work out for me. It wasn't my path. It wasn't my calling. The amount of hours I stood took to
oh my gosh,
it wasn't for me. It was a bit too kind of boring for my taste. I think I'm a bit more creative than that, so I struggled with the study.
By the way, we are not knocking those people that are doing accounting. We're not saying that you're boring.
No,
we're just saying.
No, in fact, I interviewed an accountant yesterday, and we were talking about the same thing. You know, so I worked for a law firm for over 20 odd years, and you know, accountants, lawyers at the time were looked at in a grey environment. They looked like they were boring, but they're not. They're people just like everybody else, living a life like everybody else. So it's really when you get into it, you realize how colorful it is and how many things you could do within that environment, that genre. The accountancy qualification opens a lot of doors for you, in fact. So if I was able to keep up with it, I'm sure that a lot of doors would have opened for me, but it just wasn't my thing. You know, I didn't take to it, put it that way. In fact, I moved away from the idea, and my first job, I moved away very quickly. My first job was actually working for the British Boxing Board of Control. So
you what? Hang on a minute. We're talking accounts, and now you're talking about boxing.
Yeah, I looked for a job. I needed to find a job, and the first job that I found was working for the British Boxing Board of Control. So that was great, and I stayed here for a few years. It's quite good.
Doing what? Doing what?
So I worked at the time. It's called a clerk, kind of an administrator.
Okay.
Behind the scenes, but I was able to go to all the fights, all the shows in those days. So Wembley, Royal Albert Hall, York Hall. I used to attend those shows, and I used to go to the weigh-ins. I used to go to the changing rooms and meet all the boxers and get their medical documents and so on. So that was really quite cool.
Check you out.
Hey man, that's how I rolled it back in the day.
So who's the most famous?
The most famous
boxer?
person, the most famous boxer, I suppose, would be Sugar Ray Leonard.
No way.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard. He was working out at the on the Albert Old Kent Road, actually. There's a boxer called Errol Christie back in the day. He was a very famous amateur boxer, and they were sparring. So that was really quite the Royal Oak, I think it was called. They were sparring, and so that was quite an experience to watch that. So Sugar Ray Leonard was
Did you get the opportunity to have a little spar? Did you get?
Not with him, no.
No, not with him, but just.
I have done some boxing.
Oh, gee, you would be telling me all of this, would you? If you'd he'd knock you out.
Thanks for the encouragement. Yes, he would have. He would have.
He's writing messages. Tut tut tut.
At the time, there's people like Frank Bruner was there, actually, Gary Mason, and some of the boxers of British boxers back in the day were around at the same time. So it was great to be amongst those guys and just chit chat and listen to how they came along. You know what boxing did for them, really, because a lot of them they talk about their past and how they used to get in trouble, and that boxing saved them. They saved them from crime, saved them from prison, gave them a new sense of direction to some degree as well. So boxing was a fantastic kind of avenue for a lot of young guys back in those days. You know, the opportunity it gave them.
I think even now, and I just need to mention a good friend of ours called JP, and his organisation is actually called Boxing Saves Lives.
Oh wow, yeah, it's powerful.
It's actually called Boxing Saves Lives, and exactly all of what you said. They go around schools, not just in Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, all over. Yeah, and something that people see as like, oh, it's violent. It's a whole world of just connecting.
It's connecting. Break it down. There's a group of coming together. So the camaraderie, that's really fantastic for one. They've all got one thing in purpose, to get fit for one. So therefore you can't go, you can't get in there and move around and you're not fit. So you have to concentrate on getting fit and healthy. And then the other side of it is you're disciplined. You can't go in there, fool around, run around, play around, because your coach will do something to you. So it's this discipline. So you think that, oh, young men don't take instructions, young men don't listen, but they do. If you've got the right mentor, you've got the right coach around you there. Well,
thank you.
The right person. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're just spot on. Just everything you're saying, I'm like just totally agreeing. If you give, because especially after what we said about schools, and you're in school, and if you're not fed the right information. If you're not around, you can see what happens. But when you put people in the right environment, you see how they can flourish.
Yeah. The thing
Oh,
is,
wow.
in that environment as well, when you sit down, because obviously you're going to stop, you're going to sit down, you're going to take a break and so on. And that's when you kind of hear conversations and you'll hear other people, because they can express themselves without feeling, you know, awkward. And
Yes.
some of the things that they say, you realize how intelligent people are, how they have a vision, they how to communicate. There's a lot that's going on in individuals, but they don't have the outlet sometimes. And in that toxic environment, that's what that creates, I think.
Very much so. Rudy, you're a little golden nugget tonight, aren't you?
I am.
You're doing ever so well.
Thank you. You know what? It's such a pleasure to be here, because I admired you from afar, because there's a lot of work and effort that goes into things like this that maybe some people don't realize, that there's time and effort that goes into creating. And it's okay to start something, but to be consistent over a period of time, that takes
you
effort.
Must have been watching this show earlier on, because I was talking about that, because do you know when I started this show? May 2018.
Ooh. So you've been going before COVID. Nice.
Yeah. And
nice.
Before COVID, we were live in a studio. Used to insist on everyone coming to the studio in Luton. People from London, and come to the studio. Yeah, I know you remember that. It never came on because I never invited you. But
well, that looks a nice place. I wonder what it's like inside.
So anybody that thinks that Rudy's traumatized because he wasn't invited on, or he's upset, don't. He's not, or he's bitter. He's not.
Not bitter.
Not at all. Not at all.
I admire what you guys have done. It's incredible, and to be going for how many years now is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
It's people. We do what we do, but it's all about people, and a lot of what Sabrina said, and just making a difference, and knowing that you're making a difference. That's what makes us continue, and having incredible guests like yourself, Rudy.
Yeah, thank you very much. But what you do is a service. It's a service that people, you know, the title of the program, Real Talk, is right. It's you're hearing real people talk about real life issues and circumstances, and people can relate to that, you know. And it's also you drawing out the questions, of course, and drawing out the elements of the individual as well, that people can say, I could, relate to that particular person. So it's really good. Well done to you guys, man.
Bless you. Look at the message on the screen. I didn't put that on there, by the way.
Hey. Oh, you.
That's not me.
Wow.
That's Shelley, the producer. Yeah.
Wow.
There she is. Look.
We'll have a word afterwards, I think.
See, she's trying to land you and make you think I did it. I didn't do it. That's her. That's her doing. So, so we want to know, over the past, because obviously you're still a young man, what have you been doing? Your career, I'm sure, is just kind of.
From a career point of view, I've worked for a law. I worked in insolvency first of all for a long time after the boxing board, and worked for various companies in London. And so the insolvency world taught me that how businesses run and really how businesses fail. One of the things that I've learned was that there is no bad business, it's bad management. So anything can work if you're able to adapt to the circumstances and the environment around you. So the idea can work, the concept can work, because really there's nothing new underneath the sun, but it's how you manage it. Or really it's more than management, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I expected X, Y, and Z, but it's not so much about what you expect, it's what you inspect. So it's about going deeper than just expecting something. You have to be involved with it. You have to be aware of it to some degree. So, the insolvency world taught me that the element of business is really managing well, being organized, having a strategy to be successful. So that was a fantastic learning curve dealing with that. Then I worked in a law firm. I've been working in a law firm for over 20 odd years, 23, 24 years now. But I got made redundant last year, so my world changed completely, which is fantastic. So so that was
so it was a good thing.
It was a good thing. I mean, I worked for the law in a law firm for a long time. Then part of that firm left. We created our own firm. It's a debt recovery business, but it wasn't successful. They weren't really as organized as they thought they were, and so that didn't work. And so in the process of all the changes that are going on, quite a few of us got made redundant. And funny enough, everyone who got made redundant were all over 40, over 45, in fact. So it's a large group of people who are kind of senior who got made redundant. So that was kind of an eye opener at the time. But it was beneficial for me to get out of there. I mean, it wasn't something that I was too upset about, to be fair.
So if it hadn't have happened, you'd have still been there, right?
If I had, so this is the thing, and hopefully I will get this across to a lot of people who are just unhappy in life or in their job. The job is really just keeping you there. It's like slavery to some degree. They're paying you enough just to stay. That's all it is. They're paying you just enough to stay. But if you're unhappy, you start figuring out how you can do something else, because the world is about to change quite drastically. You know, with all the changes that are going on economically, with new technology coming through, it's a matter of preparing ourselves. And really the word that I'd use is that you need to really get ready to be adapting to the new world that we're going to be walking into. If you remember back in the day, we all learned that moving away from typewriters to computers was a big change. Yeah, so we thought that was going to be one computer in the room and that was going to be it. But you know, that's taken over. So you realize there was a massive change and it affected a lot of people. Typing pools went. A lot of secretaries lost their jobs because people could type themselves. And so there's a massive change. And then the phone came in. And so with the technology of the phone, that changed a lot of things, because you can actually work from your phone, which is a fantastic thing. And then the internet, you know, we started sending emails back and forth. You go on the internet and search for things and so on, get on YouTube and present yourself. And that opened up a lot of doors. But now with the internet expanding and you got the AI coming in, the world has completely changed. It's flipped inside out, upside down. And we've just scratched this. We haven't even scratched the surface of what's about to come. So it's really an opportunity to wake up and look at the opportunities that are here, and not be so kind of, head in the sand, afraid of what's about to come around the corner, I think.
I think maybe this is one of the things that sort of like whether we're taught and what's instilled in us is that you go to school, college, university, you then get a job, you then work till 60, whatever, and then all being well, you start to enjoy yourself when you get your pension.
If you get your pension.
And that's there ain't gonna be nothing in the pot come my time, I know that much.
No.
But that's kind of, and that's what we do. It's not a case of you're going to school, you're going to uni to be self-employed. It's a case of I need to do that to get a job, to work for someone, and so much needs to change. Well,
the thing is that when we were at school, we thought that a job was going to last for a lifetime. So when we were growing up,
for some
20 years, 30 years, sometimes 40 years, they've been in the job. That's getting less and less now, being in that job for that length of time. And so that being the case, then you can't be guaranteed to have a job for 5, 10, 15 years now. So what do you do? What do you think about? What do you start considering to make sure you're ready for the future? And if you're over a certain age and you haven't got your pension sorted out yet, you haven't got your plans sorted out yet, what do you do? So the best time to have done this, of course, would have been way back when you're 16 years old, get a pension, way back when, start, upskilling. But the best time to start now is right now. Now that you got the awareness, the best time to do something is now. Have a conversation with someone and see what opportunities are available to you, so you can start preparing for tomorrow.
Because it ain't promised.
It isn't promised. Nothing's promised, really, whether it's your job. Right now, for example, if you just consider, for example, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but think about America, where people have just been lost their jobs, been told to leave. And, you think to yourself, that could happen anywhere. That the company decides to say, you know what, you're no longer required any longer. So nothing's promised, nothing's guaranteed. Anything could happen. So it's a matter of having one eye open just in case that ever happened. You know, it's getting prepared for our future without trying to be scaremongering or anything like that, but just
remember what the show's called, Rudy.
Yeah, I'm hearing that, man. I know. I'm just letting you know that some people
yeah. So what I'm saying is, don't apologize, because sometimes we're there, we're just like, you're just mulling through, and then like somebody comes and just drops it with real talk, and it's like, do you know what, you're going to set up now. And that's why, you know, you probably hear sort of like me sort of saying for people to like share obviously on YouTube, the Facebook link, because what it is, in weeks time, months time, even, we get people like, I've just seen the show.
Okay.
I've just seen the show. There's some guy called Rudy, I think his name is on there. And you're thinking that was months ago, but people watch this. You got to remember, because we're online, obviously it's worldwide, first of all. And information.
That's the important part that you just said. You're worldwide. So basically, as soon as you realize I've got this idea, this business, and as soon as you say I'm on YouTube, you're now international. As soon as you say on the internet, you're international. And this is what I'm saying so I work with mature entrepreneurs, and I'm saying, as soon as you got your business and you put it online, you are international. Your audience doesn't have to be your local area, London, Luton, Bedford. It could be anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, of course, but anywhere in the world that someone can link into you and want your service. That's why, you know, it's great to jump on now. And recently I've been speaking to a few people from Nigeria and from Ghana, and realizing they can speak 2 or 3 languages. And I think, oh my gosh, you can speak 2 or 3 languages. You're truly international. Look at you.
Really? Yeah.
So basically, when you think about your documents can be in 2 different languages. When you do a video, you could do it in 2 different languages. That means your audience is wider. It's going to be wider than me. I only got 1 language, but you can actually have multiple languages. But with AI now, you can actually even do more languages if you wanted to. So it's a crazy world that we're living right now. There's no excuse. You can be successful in whatever you put your hands to. That's what I believe.
Oh my gosh. You know, I don't even want to say this, but I will. You're going to have to come back. I'm going to have to invite you back on again. Will it be in your lifetime? Debatable. Oh, Rudy, you made me say that. Look, going across, there's an online course that I believe you are running.
Yes.
Please tell us about that.
So essentially, I've got a system. It's called the Course Creation Success Roadmap. It's geared towards midlife entrepreneurs or senior professionals, or SMEs, to be fair, as well.
Okay. When you say midlife, I don't know, because I don't know midlife. Anything could happen to me tomorrow. So what's midlife?
Yeah, so anyone over 40, 45 years old. They say 45 and above is midlife. So when I do the research, when I do some research, they're saying, no, some people say different ages, but I went for the 45 years. So anyone 40 and 45 really, it's for anybody, to be honest, but it's really kind of targeting a particular group, because being mature myself, senior, I understand what individuals have gone through. Whether you've been in a job or a career that you really don't like, but you're doing it because you've been there for so long, you don't know what else to do, or you're happy for the income because you've got a mortgage and you've got kids to look after, etc. So you're kind of stuck in that kind of environment, or you're looking to earn some more money, or you realize that, gosh, my business might be rolling up soon. It might be closing down or making me redundant soon. What do I do? So it's really for those who think, oh my gosh, I need a plan B to get myself ready for the future.
Plan B, plan C.
Because things are changing so radically, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's really kind of just preparing yourself for the future. So my course deals with 6 pillars, and these 6 pillars help you to start or scale your business. And what I'm saying to people is that if you've got experience, you can start your business, because somebody wants to know what you know. So for example, using you as an example, you've got a radio show, it's online. So therefore, somebody wants to know how to do this. How do you set this all up? What's the technical aspects of this business? How do you interview someone? You know, what kind of questions should I ask? And so on. So all the mechanism of creating a kind of a YouTube show, a webinar, and things like this, somebody needs to learn. And what I'm suggesting that anybody who's got some experience, you can create a course. That's your bedrock. That's your starting point. And so everything that I'm doing right now is to help someone really start and scale. So the 6 pillars is course. It's an acronym, and I'll break down what that means. So the C is essentially what I believe every business and every individual should work towards. And this is how they grow. This is how they develop. And the first letter is C, and that stands for credibility. Okay, now, you know, Dee, I know you're kind of a straight talker, so you tell me if I'm wrong about this, okay? I'll pitch
Don't you worry.
And you're going to represent everybody's, okay? So in a business, do you think that anybody running the business, do you think that they should have credibility? Do you think that should be something that they work towards? It's a kind of common sense question. It's like, of course, if you don't have a good credibility, you don't have business. No one's going to come to you. If you have a plumber who doesn't have a good credibility, you're never going to use that plumber or electrician and so on. So the first thing you need to kind of make sure basically your credibility is showing that you know what you're talking about. Yeah. What a course does is show you to the world what you're talking about. And in that course, what I create is a way to find out your niche, your expertise. It allows you to find your audience, and it allows you to find out what you can actually give to your audience. Does that make sense? So that's the first part. And then we're looking at the O for opportunities, because once you've created your course, of course, there's so many things you can do to build on the opportunities. So if you've got a course, you can write a book. If you've got a book, you've got to create blogs. If you've got blogs, you could do talking engagements. You could do your YouTube. And so you've got so many avenues to go to from this one tool that you created, because you create multiple tasks as well. Think about a hairdresser. I know that there's a eyelash technician who has businesses internationally by doing eyelashes, because she created a course and someone's following her course. So therefore, they teach other people in different languages in different countries about this one thing. So when you think about what a course can do, it can open up whatever business you have. Somebody wants to learn it. Someone wants to develop from it. So you got a course, and then your O for opportunities opens up to other opportunities you can actually do. Then you're going to upscale those things because you're going to be moving along. So the first time you create a course, it's limited with what you know.
Yeah.
As you start creating your business, you're going to learn more things. Think about this. I'm going to do a podcast. Well, the podcast now is a TV show. Because it used to be a podcast is voice only. Now you got a video camera in front of you. You can do a TV show if you wanted to. You know, then you're going to let's get a studio and have more people come in. Let's get a studio. Let's have an audience come in. So you think about what a church looks like. If you think about a podcast, I could do church. Yeah. Now as a church, I'm going to say, let's do it in front of an audience. So I've got a congregation in front of me. So once I've got the congregation in front of me, I've got a TV studio and I've got a live audience.
Of course.
I've upscaled everything that I've created in a matter of weeks to months and years. Depends what kind of business you want to run, and depends on you, of course. Then you would think about all those things. That's the next letter, which is going to be the exciting thing, because the next letter is R, and that stands for revenue. You're looking at the income. If you think about it, you've created a course, you've upscaled, you've done multiple things, multiple streams of income, your revenue is going to increase. When you first do a course, you're going to charge a certain amount, but because more people are purchasing that, your course can now be increased in price. So can everything else. It scales up. So your revenue is going to increase. And also because you've started this process, and because we've got videos, we've got radio, we've got, you know, all these opportunities, everything you do is going to be international. So you're not just selling to one group of people, you're selling to a multitude of people. So that goes on. Then you've got the S. The S is exciting because it stands for strategy. The strategy is this: you're going to get on other people's platforms. You're going to work and collaborate with other people. Think about that. How many people do you know that you don't actually touch yet? People that their audience that you don't see, they don't know you. They haven't seen you before. They haven't heard of you before. But can you imagine now you're going to start networking with these people and get on their platforms, and vice versa, of course. But you've got a wider audience when you start being strategic about how you present yourself. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah, of course it does.
And so you look at the last element, which is E for evolve, because what should it be happening? All of us should be working to get out of our business. So we have a business, but I'm not working in the business. So when I evolve, the business should be working for me. And so it allows me to go off and do what I need to do. I become a consultant, for example, and work with other businesses and keep growing my business. So you got other opportunities when you evolve, and that's the idea. And that's what the course element looks like, the course creation success roadmap.
Wowza.
In a
wow. In a
there's
okay, so
there's always levels.
yeah. So with the course, is it, I mean, I don't know, you can take as long as you want. It's, I don't know, is it, I don't know.
So
what's the setup? So
right now, the way that we work is basically it's going to be a two sides. You've got an online, so you could do it yourself in your own pace, take at your own time, or it could be with coaching. So I do a coaching session with my group once a week, and so it's over 8 weeks. And so the idea is that it's one of the main things that people are not successful is because they don't have accountability.
Right.
So they get on and they do what they're doing in their own time, and they think I can just mosey on. But over a period of time, it dies down. So if you've ever been to a seminar and a webinar, you sit down there and the person speaking to you, you get excited. You think, oh, I can do all these things. As soon as you leave the place, that energy starts dying. By the time you get home, it's like, you know, and real life kicks in.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So once you're in that environment, you can take over the world. You can take on anybody or anything. So the idea about having an accountability partner and a coach, which is what I do, is to make sure that you're on track about the target that you set at the very beginning. So if you said, oh, I want to make this amount, if you said this is your legacy you want to leave, if you said this is what I want to achieve, because it doesn't have to always be a bunny, but this is what I want to achieve, then we're on target. We're going to work together for this period of time to make sure you reach it or get as close to it as possible. So there's an element of time. You could do it in your own time, or you could do it with a coach. You've got choice.
Ding dong bells. All the information about Rudy is flying across our screens, and we will get some more information. We're going to have to wrap up, Rudy, because somebody you know is waiting in the wings, I believe. If not, they should be. Oh yeah, she is. The event. Oh, she's not even waiting in the wings. She can't wait. She's too eager. She's eager. What's the event that you were talking about, V? That Rudy, I can't remember. When is it? Is it this month? Next month? Do you know what event I'm talking about, Rudy?
Yeah.
Which Fab. One? No, not the Fab.
Oh, you're talking about Kingdom Approach. Kingdom Approach.
Okay, my event on the 1st of March.
Is that when? I didn't know what. I couldn't remember what date it was.
Yeah, 1st of March. That's in Milton Keynes.
Okay, if you can, V, if you can send, have you got Shelley's details, V? Or actually, just put it in the WhatsApp group for me, would you, V? That flyer. Because if I come out of this, it'll go, and that way then we'll post it underneath Rudy so that people will have that information, can share, and if they're interested, they can get in contact. So I don't know. I don't know if you heard me, V. I think I might have to invite him back on again. He was all right. Do you know what I mean? He was all right. Mr. E. Banks, I do believe we will be catching up in March. That's physically right. Catching up in March.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to be talking about that event shortly with this young lady. But so if you don't know, the Fibroids Hysterectomy and Beyond conference is back for the 3rd year. You hear that? 3rd year, guys. And so much was the demand. Guess what? Instead of half a day, it's a whole day. Oh, check. There you go. We'll talk about the conference in just a sec. This is the event that Rudy's part. Rudy, do you just want to take a couple of minutes and just tell us about that, and then I'll have to kick you off.
Yeah, it's a great event because basically it's an event for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, people who want to start or scale their business. I'm fortunate to attend to speak about course creation, to help people understand that they can start straight away and with what they have, and that's their experience. They can leverage what they know and attract their ideal audience.
So it's 1st of March. Where is it taking place?
In Milton Keynes.
Oh, it's in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 till 4. That's it, producer. What do you think? I know I've got glasses on, but don't be ridiculous. So the first thing people are going to ask, because I can't see from here, so how much is it going to cost me?
I cannot remember how much it's going to cost, to be fair.
Veronica Ebanks, can you help out?
I can have a look. I can take a look.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if it said it on the fly. It's just that I couldn't see it.
It doesn't say.
I don't think it's. I think it might be a freebie to attend, actually.
Yeah, my gut is saying it's free, but I'm going to double check it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will get that information, guys. Hopefully by if we can get it by the end of the show, we will do, and we will post that on there. But for now, Mr. Ebanks, Rudy,
Yes.
not overdue. God's timing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. No, seriously, thank you so much for coming on and just sharing so much. And I know there's so much more. So certainly get you back later on in the year. You can give us some progress and let us know what you're doing. But I will catch up with you in March, darling. All right.
Very much. Thank you. All the best. Good night.
All right. No worries. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, it's ticketed, by the way, the event. I found it. It is ticketed. Okay. And at the moment, it's saying there's a 2-for-1 deal. Tickets start.
Ouch! The reason I'm moving like this, guys, is like my backside's sore. I know I'm live. I don't care. I've been sat down for like.
Get yourself a nice cushion.
Well, just
2 hours. That it can help.
Women that are here, you don't need to say things like that live.
No, okay. The show's called Real Talk. Do you know what I mean? People think it's easy doing this show. It's not. It isn't easy. It isn't easy. So, Mrs. Ebanks.
Yes.
You patiently waited, but do not fear, because I don't have any more guests, my love.
Okay.
I do not have any more guests. So, if you are still with us, or if you are just joining us now, this is Real Talk with Simply Deez on Tuesday, the 4th of February. Shelley, the producer, and our statistician, if there's such a word, as in statistics. Tell me, Shelley, if this young lady here is not the person that's most been on the show. I reckon, no word of a lie, I don't think anybody's been on Real Talk more than Veronica Ebanks. Look at her face. That's a good thing. Ain't nobody coming back so many times if you're mad. They'll be like, thank you. Let's do this again.
I've been around from the beginning.
Telling them now. We're in the studio.
Around from the beginning in the studio.
V was like to be honest, she was like a runner, literally, in it.
Giving water, taking the guests in.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I was saying at the beginning of the show, V, that I was going, oh my gosh, this show, May 2018.
Yeah. Yeah. All that time ago. And here we are.
Incredible. Absolutely.
Longevity is definitely an aspect here in what you're doing. Because some people start and you look around and they're no longer there. And sometimes within a year, something started up and it's disappeared. Yeah. So thankful. Give God thanks. You're still here, still inviting guests, still showing up the guests. And allowing Shelley to tell them that they haven't got a passport and injections. That was out in London.
That works for me. You know that was Shelley, right? So let's just get clarification. Because do you know what I mean? If I do something, I'm owning it and I'm putting my hands up whether people like it or not. I said that. I said it. So, gosh, the year's just started. Me and V have been partying all year. All right. That's a joke, V.
It feels like it.
It does, doesn't it? You're still in recovery. Oh, yeah.
My
Busy Sunday for you, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Busy Sunday.
Oh yes, it was lovely. Had family. It was busy, but it was lovely because some people don't have that. They don't have a house full of grandchildren and sons, and yeah, they don't have that. So I'm thankful. Hard work, yeah, lots of tidying, lots of washing up, lots of cleaning up, and cooking, obviously, because I like to cook. So lots of that. Yeah, it's lovely. Two birthdays in the family in close proximity. My eldest on Saturday, yeah, 40 plus. 40 plus. I'm not gonna say how much plus, because then that'll kind of give away my age.
Because then they're going to start put two and two together for make up your age, isn't it?
But he's almost a grandfather himself. Well,
nobody wish that upon him. What's wrong with you?
No. He's two a 7 and 4. So yeah.
Oh,
all good.
fabulous,
So, yeah.
fabulous.
But just grateful for life and a new year to help as many people as we can and live a full life. Live a full life to the best we can, irrespective of what's happened in the past, irrespective of what, where we've come from, the journey we've had. We've got to live our lives. We've got to live, and we've got to take joy and be grateful for everything.
At the beginning of the show, V, because there was other guests that should have been on tonight, but they're not on. Bottom line, they're not on. And oh my gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. That's how important it was.
Well, if they couldn't make it, they couldn't make it. Life.
No. Not about them. That's what I mean. Can't remember so many things.
It doesn't matter. It's 9:15.
I've already talked about dementia with Shelley. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. V.
Yeah.
There's so much. I know we're going to talk about, obviously, the conference that's coming up in March. What do you mean you don't know? I'm talking to the people out there, to the masses. What do you mean you don't know? There's no way anybody out there can say they don't know, but they will. So that's why we're going to talk about it tonight. But in the meantime, if you don't mind, I know you've been on a few times on that, but tell, I don't know, the past, say, 6 months or so, what you've been up to. What are you up to?
Oh, wow. The past 6 months, what am I up to? Right. So I'll just give you a potted version of what I'm doing. I'm not going to go into a lot of background stuff. I'm not going to go into a lot of background.
No.
So yes. So I'm Veronica Ebanks. Rudy is my brother. Yes, we're
your
family.
Brother.
We're brother and sister. Some would say, well, we're in-laws, but we're brother and sister. Yeah. And I work. My background is education and science. Let me kind of give you that kind of summarization. So my background is education and science. I was born in Jamaica, raised here in the UK. Some would describe me as a Windrush child because I came here in 1963 at the age of 2. I was raised by a family member. I wasn't raised with my birth parents. And here I am years later, went through the British education system, got married, had 4 sons, several house moves, a bag load of grandchildren now. And I work in the local college. Yeah, so I am a biological science graduate. I went back to study as a mature student. I've worked in labs. I've worked in food testing. I've lectured, math, science, literacy, numeracy, stuff like that. Supported young people and adult students. I'm a safeguarding practitioner, consultant, and trainer. I've done lots of things. But currently, I work 3 days in my local college supporting students. I'm kind of winding down some of my, I suppose, activities. As I near retirement, I'm kind of like, what's the word? Slowing down but doing things, being very, very particular about what I do and what I choose to spend my time on. So I do that 3 days a week, support students with needs in class, maths, science, English, and a couple of other subjects. And 2022, I published a book called The Hysterectomy Chronicle. I did have a copy somewhere. Oh, here it is. Based on my own personal experience of having gynae problems, having fibroids, and the whole process of testing, investigation, and ultimately leading to a hysterectomy. So I kind of journaled that during the time. This is over 10 years ago. This is over 12 years ago now. And I kept the journal. And in 2022, I found it, my handwritten journal, and decided I would publish it. So I self-published it, kind of quiet. You know me, I don't really want too much fuzz. Self-published it. And as a consequence of that, FAB was born, FAB UK, which stands for Fibroids, Hysterectomy and Beyond. It's an initiative to support women, particularly Black women, who are more affected by fibroids in their reproductive life, and wanting more, wanting to. When I remembered my own journey, I remembered the loneliness. I remember the taboo. No one talked about fibroids. No one talked about hysterectomy, let alone sex after gynae surgery, let alone, heavy bleeding. And we didn't really talk openly. You might have a conversation with a friend or a family member, or for some people, not even that. And I remember it being very lonely, and there was just no dialogue. There's nothing. And I thought, no, we need to change it. We need to do something. We need to talk. We need to overturn that taboo and myths around surgery and fibroids and other gynae bits as well. And so 2022, did the book, had the book launch, and everyone was, after the book launch, which you hosted, people were saying, well, what next? What's the next thing? And I went to bed and I woke up and it was like, we need to have a conference. We need to bring this out, and we need to have experts to talk, to share. We need to give access to women and their supporters and allies to come and be able to meet with surgeons, meet with the experts, have their questions answered, and not be in the dark over anything, to find out. So do I have to have a hysterectomy if I've got fibroids? How many times can I have surgery to have fibroids cut out? And do they come back? Why do they come back? Why are some of them missed? Is it because they're too, and during this journey, I've learned so much more. And there's been advances since I had my hysterectomy to now. Now we're talking about robotic surgery. We're talking about robotic surgery and different methods and different pharmaceuticals. I know some people, obviously, they want to do the natural, go down natural routes, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But depends on what you want to choose. Some women don't want to have surgery. Some women don't want to take pharmaceuticals, and that is fine. Everyone has choice, and I'm pro-choice, right? But I'm also against late diagnosis in women with some of these issues. Not, I suppose, being in the dark, not knowing what they don't know. And presenting really late because we think what's happening with our bodies is normal. That was my case. When my stomach was swelling and my feet were swelling up, I just thought that was normal. And heavy bleeding, to the extent that you're anemic all the time, you're tired all the time, your quality of life is impacted, and you've got to go to work, you're in terrible pain. And I'm wearing a machine under my clothes, a TENS machine to function. Right? So that's where FAB kind of came. That's how FAB was birthed. And I'm happy to say we're in our 3rd year. So in the last couple of years, thank you. We've had the 2 half-day conferences, and we've had two. We've had 2 online conferences,
Yeah.
And we've had an international audience. There have been individuals from overseas attend, and tickets were sold out in the last in-person conference.
Yeah.
And what I'm absolutely amazed by and really, really grateful for is that the experts, the professionals, all volunteer their time. No one is paid. It's all done. They donate their time. People say, oh, sponsorship and sponsorship. These individuals sponsor by giving their time freely.
Because
And
that's a massive thing, actually, V, without sort of, in terms of like, when, I don't know, when you're doing something and people talk about support comes in so many different ways. And people are like, I haven't got any money. It's not always about the money. There's so many different ways that you can support, whether it be a friend or whoever it is with whatever they're doing. Do you know what? If you were to just, you're not coming or you're not, but if you were just to share, I bet there's somebody that you know that, oh, I wish I'd have known. That's what I heard after, like, I'm thinking like promoting like from before Christmas. I wish I'd have known.
Yeah, because sometimes the social media, the way the algorithms work, people don't see the posts. And last year there was a 6 months promotional, 6 months marketing. We get the terminology right. And some people still didn't see anything.
Yeah,
even though it was on X. I think it was Twitter before, X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I can't think of any other platform.
And there's flyers. And
there were flyers, and there were flyers left in certain shops, and there was a few posters posted in certain areas, and so on. And yet still, you can't reach everybody, but you try and reach as many as you can by whatever means you can. I mean, I gave out some at Yvonne's.
We were talking about that
the other night.
You can sort of like, if we could just take a few minutes, V, because Yvonne was actually not physically on the show, but she was watching. And
what
I said, the show, you can only talk for yourself, because obviously it's impacted different people, different ways, and all the rest of that. And I just said, it's a West End show.
Yeah, it's a global show.
And it's a film.
Yeah.
And
it's everything.
It's just, it really is.
It resonates. And for some of us, personally, there's some aspects of her story that resonates with different individuals. Different parts of her story, her real life story, impacts some of us in certain parts of her story. So and some of it, trigger warning. Some of it can be, right? You may shed a tear. You can laugh, but
there was everything.
But you
laugh,
leave,
cry,
but you leave fully, it's as if someone's just attached you to a battery to recharge you, and you realize that your circumstances and your experiences, your negative experiences, your ACEs, your adverse childhood experiences, should not hinder you going forward in your life. And God works in mysterious ways. Absolutely. So caught you in a lie. And I love reggae music. Reggae music is me. If I only had to have one genre, it would be reggae and reggae gospel. That would be it. But when she dropped that first song, I said, I felt it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it. So well done, Yvonne, if you're listening. It was absolutely amazing. And back to the topic. I've just read Shelley's note in the chat that I could write a book with my medical and gynae history. Yeah. Sadly, some women, that is the case. It's protracted, it's long, it's painful, full of disappointment sometimes. And in some cases, it can be quite lonely. And for us to come together right? For us to come together to break that cycle of being alone, waiting until something is quite dire before doing something about it. I would encourage any woman listening tonight having symptoms of heavy bleeding, terrible pain, swollen feet, extended stomach, tiredness, lethargy. Goodness me, the symptom, I could read off more symptoms. Go and get yourself checked. Get yourself checked. I know people are going to say, oh, I can't get an appointment or whatever. Keep pushing.
That's it. Yeah.
Keep on pushing and take someone with you to advocate for you. If you don't feel that you can tackle it by yourself, get an ally, someone who you can trust, who you feel comfortable with, and go with them. Let them come with you. Yes. And if it's a phone, even if it's a phone appointment, so you're in your own home, have your friend or your ally with you so you can speak to the person on the end of the line and say exactly, and don't hide anything, because sometimes it's language as well. Sometimes it's because we were brought up, you don't say certain things that below the waist. You don't, and sometimes some individuals don't even know the proper terminology for certain things.
Yeah.
It's their language that they use, but in the medical profession, I'm sure they're trained to understand slang and, or have someone to interpret what that patient is saying and what they're talking about and where they're talking about. Right? Yeah. I mean, I could start naming things here now, but I'm not going to. It may offend some. But yeah, language, even that can be a barrier for women to get support. Yeah, about their body parts, their own personal gynae stuff. And men, yeah, we need your voices are important too in the narrative around gynae support and gynae issues. Your voice needs to be heard as well.
I'm just thinking, Vic, because you're obviously sort of saying about men and hearing their voice. It's so can you imagine as a man now and your partner isn't sharing what's going on, or maybe downplaying when it's kind of major, but sort of like making it's not so bad. But how do, I mean, I don't know, how did Al navigate when you sort of like,
oh God
or
bless him.
if there's anything you can sort of like to just, I don't know, encourage or
what, encourage the men to encourage?
No, as in like anybody who's watching now who's thinking about whether it's male or female about coming, how was it for Al?
We're going
like
through. He had a horrendous time. He had an horrendous time, and at the time we had 4 children.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah,
we had 4 kids, 4 sons, 4 boisterous and lovely, but we had 4 children, and obviously I hid that from the children. Which mother shares some of that with their young kids, especially their sons? So you soldier on. When you are in pain, you're not saying that you're in pain, but my sons might remember that I was in bed a lot. Mum's not well today. Daddy's saying, no, Mum's not well. Yeah, or Mum can't come. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but it was almost as if before I knew what the problem was, I just imagined that that's how life would be until I hit menopause. I just thought that was just normal. Stomach got bigger because I looked around and I saw the seniors, and quite a few of the seniors, their stomachs were quite big, and some of them not necessarily obese, but they had big stomachs. I just assumed your stomach got big when you got older. You got to a certain age, your stomach get big and your foot swell up and you have to buy big and big knickers.
Hey, Bridget Jones is out next week.
Buy big knickers to keep your back warm, but then you have to. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes some of the things that that we tolerate or that we experience, we don't really think of, I suppose, the viewpoint of our partners or our husbands.
Who's that producer woman? Let me just bring her on for a bit, because we've been talking at the beginning of the show. We had quite a bit of a chat, and now because of what we're talking about, and Shelley's been to the conferences, the last two conferences, and hopefully be there on the 9th. Shell.
On the 29th.
Yeah, 29th. Sorry,
of March.
The 9th. Our event's on the 9th. Sorry, that's why I said the 9th.
Yes.
I'm sitting there going, did she say the 9th?
Yeah.
I did say the 9th, but I'm talking about the 29th of March.
So am I talking about the 29th, but I don't know, I just said the 9th. Shell.
Links in the comments and everywhere else. Yeah, you'll certainly see the links to these event on our pages and everything everywhere.
Yeah. You've been to the last two conferences, Shell. What have you? I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to share, sort of like with the masses out there at all.
Well, with regards to the events, it's something that's definitely was then needed. And the people that you've got that talk are amazing anyway.
They are super.
I thought B was actually going to pass out on the spot a couple of times when we had our last in-person one.
You're talking about catching the confetti.
It was the
Don't give away any secrets.
I was seated, by the way. I was seated.
Don't give away any secrets, Shell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a safe space that definitely you need to share. I've shared a lot when I was going through infertility on an online platform, and I'm still friends with those girls and men, but those girls today. We don't see each other. We see each other on Facebook, but we've had a few bereavements and things recently, and everything stops because you've had that closeness with them. And some people unfortunately don't get that when they're going through something like, but I suppose with infertility you're naturally like that, but when you're kind of going through just normal periods, or what you think is normal, perhaps not what is not, it's normal for you but it's not actually normal. I've always had problems right from when I first started my periods when I was young. So polycystic ovaries, and I had underactive thyroid, so that always causes heavier periods. And it came and go, and they tried different things, tried the fertility things, all that kind of things didn't work. Then that stopped. Then I thought, all right, okay, I've got to that point, giving up. So you kind of go through that kind of grieving process. Then I had testosterone problems, so I was extremely stroppy all the time, and I didn't know what that was. And the more I read into it, the more I thought, oh, perhaps it's perimenopausal. I'm kind of right at that age. But everything else was then coming back. It says, no, it's just the testosterone that's a problem. Right, okay. Now I've had, over the past 2 years, I suppose, now I've read into it a bit more and I can understand what's happened. When I had my calcium problems with this hyperparathyroidism, my vitamin D levels were rock bottom, and they couldn't give me vitamin D because the calcium was too high. Calcium going around in my system. My body wasn't taking it. It was going around the system. So I had to have the operation to take the little gremlin out that was causing the problem. And now my calcium went back to normal. My calcium ended up going back into my bones. My vitamin D levels came up. And because of that, now what I've read, this is what's now causing what's called PMDD, which is like premenstrual syndrome times 1,000. And it's been gradually getting worse and worse. each month through this past year, and it literally has been a year. My periods started to go back to normal, then they started going heavy. And from that, I'm now at this end of the year, if you like, where I'll say it, real talk. I'll say that my depression has hit rock bottom, and there are trigger warnings, hang on, there are suicidal thoughts there. And now this only comes from the point of my body trying to ovulate. So the progesterone and all that kind of stuff is in the system. So as that starts, and it's the 2 weeks up to the period, sometimes the period will give me relief from those, but then I'll then have my periods being really, really heavy. I am wearing incontinence pants.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm wearing incontinence pants so I could wear them longer so I don't have to change. It's I'm wearing incontinence pants. But then I will then have the mental health side of things will then be, oh my God, what have I been like over these past 2 weeks? So it's affecting me.
Yeah.
3 weeks out of the 4.
Okay. Tough.
Yeah. And that's the mental health side of things. It's not even then when I'm in this 2 weeks now, as the girls kind of heard a bit earlier on today when I was saying about the sorting out the show this afternoon. I didn't sleep well last night. I didn't sleep at all last night because I'm in this 2 weeks. My body, even if I try to stop myself like going to sleep and whatever, my body, because I wear a watch that's then telling me what my heart rates are. Yeah. I can see from that where I am. Any doctor could see where I am from that, because that's what my doctor saw. He saw that even while I'm asleep, my brain's obviously going, I'm obviously having dreaming, I'm doing something because my heart rate is up and down, up and down, up and down all night. I'm not
right. So you're not getting the correct balance of sleep and REM, etc.
Yeah. Which then knocks me. So when I do go to sleep, I'm then waking up late, or I'm having a nap in the day, or I'm doing something else.
Yeah. And you're just knackered.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just for individuals listening out there, PMDD is a severe form of premenstrual syndrome. Yeah, it stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
Yeah, it sounds horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you seeing anybody this week? Am I allowed to say that or not?
Yes, because of because she's been on these events. The nutritionist Hayley Downs. I've booked an appointment with her on Thursday.
Good.
And it's just literally, you get a 30-minute consultation with her, and it's just to see what she can offer, where I'm sitting. Because at the minute, they've been trying to do different things, and the gynae appointment keeps getting put back, or they've tried to put a coil in and they couldn't with me. 2 different times. There are 2 different people. Apparently I've got a tilted cervix.
Yeah.
And because I've not had children, it was going to be problems having the problems with my cervix anyway.
With insertion, yeah.
Yeah. Which me and my best friend laughed at the time, because I then said, well, if you get drunk to get pregnant, what can I do to my cervix to make it relax? You have to laugh because you keep laughing and crying to it.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's been, because it's been this constant thing and it's been gradually getting worse. It just kind of went on and on and on. So it was almost as if to speak to Hayley that even if I start doing like the blood test and things, if I know where everything lies, I've got ammunition then.
And your hormone levels. I don't want to get in too much into it, but anyone out there listening, if you'd like to come along on the 29th of March, you'll get to meet Haley Down, you'll get to meet Ruth Harrison Swift. You'll get to meet, so Haley Down is the hormonal specialist, a nutritionist. Ruth Harrison Swift is the the menopause support expert.
Yeah.
We have surgeons, Dr. Loretta Ogboro-Okor, who will be speaking and talking to us about gynae surgery and sex after gynae surgery and so on. And we also have Joyce Aduamankwa, who is a sickle cell specialist nurse, who will be coming to speak to us about the implications of sickle cell in the subject matters that we're talking about. We'll also have Yvonne John, who will be speaking on infertility, her personal experience and grief, etc. Who have I missed? We've got Sandra Moore, who will be speaking to us on some aspects of holistic therapies. I'm not quite sure what aspects she'll be talking about. Could be one, could be two, I'm not sure, but she'll be with us. She's a new speaker with us, with Fab. Who else have I missed anyone? We may have a male surgeon, Dr. Eki Imovon, to be confirmed. Yeah, to be confirmed. And we may have a couple of inputs. Yeah, I can't say too much yet, but from maybe, they're not really surprise speakers, but we may have some input from a couple of other people. But that's where Shelley met Haley.
Yeah, exactly.
And Haley is brilliant. Yeah. Haley is on the ball. Haley has so much expertise in supporting women, not only with periods, but also with infertility as well.
Yeah. Because as she turns around and says it, she very much goes with the point of it's not normal. What you think is normal. As you said, B, of going to bed. That is not what it's supposed to be like. And a man, most of these gynecologists are men, and they would not have.
Yeah. They shaped the discipline. They did shape the discipline. The gynecology discipline. It was formed by men and developed by men, and sadly, still kind of dominated by men. Yeah. But we want changes. We want our voices to come together and say, this is what's happening with us. What do we need to know? What can we do? How can we improve on what's already there? Yeah. Yeah. And we need to be listened to.
Yeah. As Dee said sort of like earlier, how did Al sort of react? But what Will's sort of saying to me, and as he said today, when I've actually got like having my periods, you can understand that. Like someone's got a pain because they broke their arm, they've got a plaster on. You
can see it.
You can actually physically see it. This bit here right now, you can't see. And a few people have just turned around, and men, I should say, have turned around and said, well, I don't know what shell I'm going to have. And I'm like, I don't know what shell you're going to get. Honestly, if I could tell you, I would, because right at the beginning I could be fine, and then something might make me snap.
Yeah, and also cry. Well, for me, I could cry. I'm reading something, I might just see something, and I'm crying, and not even sure why I'm crying.
I was driving around the other day, and I've always got the radio on. Always have done. I love driving. I've always put the radio on, but there's been times where I've had to pull over the car and put a CD on, or I've made my phone do a podcast or something, because one line of a song will get me, and I could be all of my eyes out driving.
Yeah. Do you ever get angry? Do you ever all of a sudden find yourself in a rage, and you wonder, and then when it's over, you think, well, where did that come
what on earth? Why? Yeah, I could be a rage at myself. I was in the house on my own today, and I think I dropped my keys 3 times. I think it was about 3 times. But the last time I dropped my keys, there was no particular. I mean, it was my fault. I was just trying to get ready. You know, when I'll pick up the coat, pick up the bag, pick up this, and I've dropped them about 3 times. Yeah. And I just had a moan at myself. I was like, What? I mean, I'm real screaming, slanging match myself.
Yeah. So Dee, what about yourself? What about you?
What about me?
Where do you fit in this in terms of your in terms of gynae stuff? What in terms of what you've heard this evening? Remember, you asked us the questions. From what you've heard, what does that say to you? How do you interpret what Shell has been saying?
I've been on the show 2 hours, 34 minutes and 26 seconds. The brain is not going to engage right now. I swear to God. It's like, she's asking me a question. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the other side. And
but thank you.
Sorry?
I said thank you for giving us an opportunity to.
Oh, don't be silly. And just kind of I don't even want to say anything in case I jinx myself, but all currently is well. But in the last, when you said back in I don't know, it might have been 2021, because obviously we had the soirees and all that sort of stuff. And you said like, oh, you'd kept a diary. Don't know, shouldn't you probably, oh, go. So anyway, you did, and it's like, oh my gosh. And you're going like, oh, you're not having a launch. And I'm like, why bloody not? And you're like, all right then. So we did the launch, and then it's like, shit, oh my gosh. People are kind of really, and every single time, whether it's online and certainly when it's in person, and I'm like, there's been about like, what, 5 events in total. And it's not a case of, oh, it's the same. There's always new. There's always something, didn't know that. Yeah. And obviously having the opportunity to speak directly to these people, not sort of like, oh, can you? You can actually ask your questions and they get honestly answered. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And it's so needful. This is the thing. The cost in terms of productivity, right? In one study in Japan, the cost to the economy was $8.6 billion, caused by menstrual and gynae issues of women.
This is it. When you kind of start doing those kind of and getting that information, it's like, well, actually, maybe we should be investing more money into
time. And prioritizing.
Oh my gosh.
This is the thing. You know, half of the workforce, if half the workforce are female, then half of those females, or up to 70% of those females, could be having issues around gynae stuff, menstruation, menopause. I mean, come on. The numbers are huge. So hence we have government guidance now around menopause and endometriosis. Fibroids, I'm not sure whether fibroids got a mention in it, but there is the
last few, it's like every time the news or something like that is
Ruth Harrison Swift is the expert on that. She goes into all corporations and organizations and speaks on it, right? But it needs more prioritizing. It needs more attention. I mean, I'm really surprised that last year, I was awarded I was a finalist for an award. And as a consequence of that, went to a lovely beautiful event, hosted by CAN, Caribbean and African Health Network. And they put on an awards evening for Black healthcare professionals and supporters, etc. And then towards the end of last year, I got invited. Was it the beginning of this year? I got invited to the House of Lords. There was a reception, a drinks reception for the finalists, and I ended up going to Westminster. It was lovely, absolutely lovely. But we need more. We definitely need more awareness raising.
I think, like menopause and it was being spoken about, and it took time before it kind of took off, and now it's there, it's out there, organizations, all the rest of it. And that I think this is going to be exactly the same.
Well, it's
You just got to
happening.
keep
There's
pushing.
more
You just got to,
conversations
yeah.
now. There are more conversations being had, but maybe the volume is not up yet. It's there, but it's low level.
Time, yeah.
Endo is really coming up. Menopause came out of the closet, as I always say.
Yes.
Menopause is running down the road naked, screaming, "Here I am!" But right, endo is now high on the agenda, and it's rising because it's the national news coverage about it, as well as heavy bleeding and so on. We've seen breakfast TV doctors on there speaking about it, but the level needs to come up a bit more now around fibroids, and sadly for some women it ends in hysterectomy, and for some women who didn't, that wasn't their plan because they wanted to have children, but the circumstances or whatever. And some women have gone down the route of a herbal route or a non-surgical route. Let me correct myself, say non-surgical route, and are seeing and have seen results. So I'm pro-choice.
Because we're wrapping up now, because me and Cheryl can have a chat. So we know, I know the information's on there. Will be still, do you know what I mean? You've still got a month or so. So we'll get you back on some show, or possibly even maybe Ruth or Hayley or one of the other guys would be great to get on, even if it's a daytime show, so we can be promoting that. So just tell the guys.
Can I ask a quick question? And I'll say where the conference is going to be. If there is anyone out there listening in the Milton Keynes, Bedfordshire area, because it's all in one now in terms of healthcare and mental health and everything. If there is anyone out there listening that would be able, for maybe, who knows, for next year, be able to be in a position to donate a building or a space for us to host the conference, that would be really great. If you could get in touch with me, please. And if there's anyone out there who would like a stall on the day, health-related, holistics, that kind of stall business out there that would like a stall at the conference, please get in touch. They are limited and they are £20. All right. Right. So on the 29th of March, it's a Saturday. So Saturday, the 29th of March at the Margaret Powell Suite in Midsummer Boulevard, Milton Keynes. It's about 10 minutes from the station. And if you came last year to the Leonardo Hotel, it's diagonally opposite. It's on the same stretch of road, but it's diagonally opposite. Yeah. So it's not that far. You don't have to walk that much further from the station if you're coming by train. There's on-road parking and it is pay and display. But Milton Keynes, for shopping, it's great. Come for the weekend. Book yourself in somewhere and come for the weekend. All right. The tickets for the conference, I try to keep them as low as I can. We still have to cover the costs. The Margaret Powell Suite is not free. Okay, so it is a ticketed event. At the moment, the tickets are £10 on Eventbrite, plus the Eventbrite, I don't know what you call it, fee.
That is cheap. I'm just keeping it real. £10 for what you have. And hang on a minute, what's the time for this event?
It's all day. We're going to start we're kicking off at 10 and finishing at 5:30.
£10?
Right? Yes.
You didn't flipping heck.
Yes.
Shell's been there before, and there's no way you'd get anything like this. You're paying £10. You're in London. How much should you be paying, Shell?
Yeah, it's a full day. Come and connect. Yeah, don't stay out there on your own and flounder. Come and join us. Come over. We're an empathetic group. We care. This is it. There's no money being made in this. This is not to make money. This is to help
what I was going to say.
Many women and men, and ultimately the community, ultimately the country.
That's it, Lee. What I was going to say, I remember what I was going to say now. I met this lady on Friday at Yvonne's event, and I was giving her a flyer, and she said, "Oh, I need to connect with her actually, because she actually works for the NHS, and she does pelvic something, can't remember what it is. And she
Oh,
goes, oh, she wanted to come last year, but something happened. So she's going
right.
to do her utmost to try and come, and maybe get a few colleagues to come along,
as well.
Yes.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier. Yeah.
So if you've got flyers, give them to us, and
I've got a few.
Maybe some of the doctor's surgeries, or maybe
yeah.
we can
and if you're
drop some
listening
off
tonight, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a colleague. Yes, everyone's welcome. We look forward to seeing you.
Fair. All right, Veronica Ebanks, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you,
on.
Shelley. Thanks for sharing, generous sharing, intimate stuff. But this is real life. This is real talk, right, Dee?
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
It has to be. Thank you, darling. We'll catch up. All right.
All right. Good night. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Wow. Woo. How you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
You sure?
I'm okay talking about it. I think sometimes when people don't see me online or don't get a response back straight away, it's difficult to explain that at that moment I wasn't doing so well, but the following day I could be perfectly okay. It's just a complete roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster. That's, yeah, it's difficult to get your head around. And I've had it before. When my testosterone, I got angry and stroppy with my testosterone problems. I was like a toddler quite often, just temper tantrum. I think it was the best way to describe it sometimes. But with this, I can get angry, I can get shouty, I can get short, and the next minute I can get like completely blank to everything. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to be anywhere. I just want to hide in bed. Or I could be crying, and when I'm in crying, I'm actually bawling. Proper bawling.
Proper bawling.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, proper bawling, and you just can't stop, and you go to take a breath, and you just can't. And it can just catch you out. It can just catch you out. I mean, I saw a friend today, and I don't know whether I'd got myself worked up because I was seeing them or whatever, but I got up. It kind of caught me. And you feel it get caught, and then I just cried, and I'd be like, I'm fine, just let me cry out, give me a couple of minutes, then turn around, yeah, I'm fine. And it was then sort of like, well, I don't know what shell I'm going to get. And I said, well, I don't know what shell you're going to get. I don't know what shell I'm going to get. That's the problem. But hopefully, yeah, I'll get there one way or the other.
Making steps in the right direction, and that's why I think it's good that we talk, that we share, that we connect with the people that we're connecting with.
Yeah,
because somebody somewhere knows somebody, and it's like, right, okay, let's see where, or to help.
I've got poems.
Right, go.
They are quite.
No,
naughty? They're not naughty.
Oh,
they're not naughty. I said they were going to be quite short.
Okay, cool.
She didn't say which way around she wanted them, so I'll go for time. Is the first one. Time doesn't wait for anybody. You have to make the time you have on this earth count, and give your time to what you love and the people you love. In my life, I've been on a crazy roller coaster ride of ups and downs. And now I take the time to reflect on the things that have happened. And now I'm taking time for myself and discovering what deserves to have my time. Self-discovery is not always easy, but sometimes you just need to stop and take time out, because at times your mental health comes first. I'm still learning to say no and take time to make sure that I'm okay, because I put all of my time into others. I'm learning that that time is now, and it's time to focus on myself and my feelings and dreams, because time doesn't wait for anybody, and I'm not going to waste any more time. Oh my God, what were we just talking about?
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
I specifically, whenever Tishi sends me poems, all I do is I just make sure I can open them, because I had a problem with my phone earlier. He didn't want to do it. And I waited till I came home, and it was like, no, I've opened it on the laptop. That's fine. I don't read anything until she sends it, till I'm reading it out.
Yeah.
And that, as I'm reading that, I've got goosebumps all over.
Yeah. I didn't when I like, it's a case of you just want to sort of like be raw when you're reading it. So you're caught up in that, what have you, the same time as everybody else, as opposed to, oh, I know what's in there.
I know what's coming. Yeah.
Do you want to do the next one? Yeah.
2025. 2025 is going to be the best year ever, because you are going to make it the best of your life. 2025 is the year that you do whatever you want and need to do to make yourself happy. In 2025, you might go on a journey of self-discovery and find out more about yourself and others. 2025 may be the year of heartbreak, but remember your worth, and remember that 2025 is your year. 2025 is going to be full of love and happiness and blessings and uncertainties. You can take control of your life and desires, and 2025 is all about you and what is important to you in 2025.
Wows. Excellent. Tishi Thomas, thank you so much. Let's think what we're going to do with them, because she's got so many of them.
Well, I'm personally going to be keeping those two, because it's very much, it could have been written for me, about me. Yeah.
That's what I said. I'm like, wow. And I think, you see, the fact that you read it now, as opposed to like, oh my gosh, because you could have read it earlier.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have meant the same as like literally after. Yeah. Isn't it amazing? Before we wrap up, they're still probably listening, so I'm going to drop some stuff that the girls probably don't know as yet, because kind of ish, but not. So we've got dates flying around. Hopefully you've got those dates, because they're all being shared by Shelley in the chat, and we'll obviously continue to share them. So Sunday, what day? Sunday, the 9th of March. Hang on a minute, International Women's Day is on the Saturday. Correct.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
But do you know what? There's so many things going on. We do a lot of supporting. And do you know what? We're changing things up. So we are going to celebrate on Sunday, the 9th of March. This is going to be at the Luton Irish Forum. Okay. This isn't like our normal events for International Women's Day. So we will make sure all this information is communicated, but letting you know now. It's a little intimate affair that we're thinking like, oh my God, what are they doing? It's an intimate afternoon. I say intimate, I'm talking about 30. We're sealing it. We can fit more, but we're sealing it at 30. We have the wonderful Georgina Williams. Is it Gorgeous Goodies? It's called
Gorgeous Goodies. Yeah.
Yeah. She's providing light. Do you hear the word? What word did I say then, Shel? Did I say heavy or did I say light? Light. Refreshments.
Well, a little bit more than just light. It is. Yeah. It's one of it. We're not just doing nibbles. It's a little bit more than nibbles, and it's yes, because we've actually got catering. It's not just that we open up a packet of crisps or a bag of nuts for you.
Oh, do you know what? She's getting cheekier. That's what's happening here.
Well, I'm just thinking,
yes.
you don't normally go for crisps. It's nuts that you go for.
Yeah, and there will be, because I'm going to make sure there is. But yes, so so when you're thinking there's going to be, oh, there's going to be speakers.
The only speakers that are going to be used are to be used for music.
Catching up. So more information to follow.
There is an event on Facebook. Like the event on Facebook. Be interested, or whether you say going. The Facebook event will be the one that will get the links and everything else updated first.
Right. On it.
So you make sure that you then get your updates then, don't you, from liking the event.
What do we say? Snooze, you lose.
Yeah. Because at the minute we could put it on different platforms to where we sell tickets and stuff. But no, once we've worked it out, selling the tickets and everything, that gets updated on that event thing first. So it's a proper save the date.
Brilliant. We will be back next month. Lincoln will be there, and I'm sure there's more to share in it. I know. Scary stuff. Right, we are out of here. I've got some stuff to do. Shelley, what's tomorrow? See what I mean? I don't even know what the days of the week are. Tomorrow's Wednesday, isn't it? I'm going to see you Thursday.
You're Groundhog Daying with your job. That's what it is. Same letters, different day.
Sometimes it pretty well is. Today, by the way, those people trying to attack me today, ease up. Ease up.
Ooh.
Where's my let me think. Mystic D, let me think. Oh, where was I? I was in town, and this woman stopped me, and she's going like, you got my parcel. And I'm like, sorry? What's got to do? You got my parcel. And I'm like, I'm just getting out. I need to just do what I need to do. And I live Hightown. I'm like, I'm nowhere near Hightown. I haven't got your parcel. No, I ain't. Oh. See you, Red. They think you deliver everywhere.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. There's only one postman that that delivers all the way around town. Obviously.
I do feel like it sometimes, yeah. So as we finish up, we've got to thank our amazing guests. So you have to check out. Don't say we didn't tell you, because when we do summer, those people that do will understand. Sabrina Ben Salmi.
Yes.
I can't believe she came on.
She's got some amazing
and the kids
on the links. Yeah.
I've tried to a couple of times also as well. I can't remember which one of her sons, but International Men's tried to pitch. And anyway, but yeah. Thank you to Rudy. First time, won't be your last. Don't worry, don't panic. Rudy, who we'll see in the latter part of March as well. And also to the amazing Veronica Ebanks, who the brainchild of the Fab conferences. And, you know, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It's just going to get bigger and bigger. So this is us signing out with Real Talk. And that's what we've given them. My husband's walking past me because he's obviously nicked some of my apple crumble. Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Okay, so if I tell you, because it's real talk and because I don't care, so I've been trying to make, when did I buy? I bought them on Saturday and I thought, what was yesterday? Monday, just because I've been out. So yesterday I made 2 dishes. One's kind of smallish, and then one sort of largest dish, apple and pear actually. And I rang him during the day and I said, I'm just eating some apple crumble. He goes, I bet you had some for breakfast. And I'm like, well, actually, I ate it lunchtime. And he's come home from work and I've finished the dish. And when I say finished, I mean, it's empty. It's empty.
Wow.
And I said, Savannah was round? And he goes, no, he wasn't. I said, ring him. He was round. And I offered him some. He said, I've got apple crumble at home, Mum. I bought one from the shop. And I've had it for the past 2 nights. Don't think I want any more. I thought, excellent. That's what you call a result. So on that note, if you're out there, what is your I saw a picture you sent Cecile today, Shelley. What is your food that you could eat anytime? This is how, it's not even bad, because do you know what? Sometimes this is self-care and self-love for me. And if you know me, you know I'm not lying. So I start work, I leave home at 7 o'clock, 8:05 latest, and apple crumble, honeycomb ice cream. Eating that at 5 to 7 in the morning. Just the best. You've got to go like, no way. What's your kind of like, people be like, nah. And it's like, delish. Any time of day. Any time of day. What's your thing, Shell, that like,
well, it's not really, I'm a food lover. But today, because I was going out to see my mate, I'd taken the dog for a walk, met them. Then where we happened to go for a walk is TJ's favourite place to get sausages. They cook the sausages and they let them go cold, so you get a doggy sausage. So I had to obviously join him, and so I had a sausage bap and a hot chocolate, and TJ had his. So for those that don't know, TJ's my Jack Russell. TJ had his doggy sausage. So I was winding the girls up at lunchtime with my sausage bap. And I don't know whether Amanda's watching because she's finished a meeting now, but that is where we would normally go on a Thursday, but the car park is being done on Thursday, so I'm going somewhere different. So I might even have some other food.
No, you won't. You're not going out Thursday evening.
Oh yeah, going out Thursday evening. Yeah, we still haven't worked out where we're going. We need to put this warning out. We need to say to people, the
stay in.
Crew, the management.
You're in it.
Is out on Thursday night. Lock all the doors.
Yes. Yeah.
If
definitely.
anything happens, it's not my fault.
It's not mine either. Right, to the masses out there, thank you so much as always for tuning in. Please, 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 whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, please share. Guests, it'd be great if you could actually sign up to our YouTube channel. We would appreciate that. And if you've got any questions, not sure of anything, you know how to get hold of us. So as I said, for Real Talk, we will be back next month. I think it might be something like the 4th of March. And don't forget, we will be back with the Simply Together show next Tuesday. And next week, Thursday, because we're hopefully going to get some information out this week. That's me being, we're going to have our Zoom, our community Zoom. And yeah, we're gonna let them know real early, Shell.
Yeah.
Because we want some newbies.
Yes.
Some newbies. So much going on, guys.
Just a chat.
Just letting you know. Actually, I don't know if that's public knowledge, so I won't share that. But thinking of our Teresa Rhodes right now and sending love and prayers. And yeah. So take care for now. You'll hear there's a few people that have got a few special birthdays this year. I don't know how special is special, 60.
I was just going to say their birthdays that end in 0. I wasn't going to say the first number.
I don't care. You watch my phone light up when I get off the phone now. how did you say? We don't care, don't care. We're 60. We're 60. Blessed in abundance. Yeah, reach out, guys. You just don't know. There's a few people, you know, when people are on your mind, they're on your mind, and you just throw it out there, message them, ring them, or what have you. They will appreciate it.
I must admit, I am thankful for some of the friends that I've then got, that they hear when I'm silent. They hear when I'm silent. I've hidden away and I've gone quiet, and they've heard that and reached out. Yeah. If you have that thought, go with that thought. Perhaps don't go ballsing straight in, but yeah. Just if you to open up a conversation, if you're unsure, if you in that situation where you think I've gone quiet and you was to message me, it would be, oh, are you okay? And I could quite easily just say, yeah, fine. Anyone could. But if you was to follow that up with, are you okay because, and you say what you've seen or you've felt, that could be enough to push someone and say, actually, no, I'm not. Or actually, I'm okay, but I'm not feeling comfortable, or I'm not sure myself. It's just enough that shows you the reason, and it doesn't stop that door being slammed back at you. It's enough to open that up and you say the reason why. That's gone very deep at the end, doesn't it?
It certainly has. But show wouldn't be the show if it wasn't real talk. And yeah, reach out where you can. And thinking of my very, very good friend who I've not spoken to for a little while, Steph Powell. Love you loads. All right, we are out of here. Shell, we'll catch up. I'm going to catch up with you tomorrow. Guys, please, 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 in the diary now. Tickets will be on, what's today? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tickets will be on sale Friday. Do you know why? Because our show's going to put them on sale.
Because we're going to have a meeting about it on Thursday.
Yeah. And letting you know now, when we say sold out, it's like, they're saying that, but sold out will mean sold out. How many tickets did I say? 30. 30 is actually including us. So not many at all. It's an intimate affair. So yeah, we'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.